This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. Former Prime Minister Minnis, defending the 150-year lease agreement with Royal Caribbean, says the deal was in the best interest of Bahamians. The Supreme Court will hear arguments over Bella's remains in private. And on this day that Barbados breaks ties with the monarchy and becomes a republic, we discuss our future and whether we should be considering becoming a republic as well. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Tuesday, November 30th, 2021. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Don Sargent will be joining us. Also this morning, we've got another drawing of the Bahamas COVID vaccination raffle. And later in Morning Blend Business, we'll be giving you all the details about an upcoming trade show that you won't want to miss. So a lot to get to on this Tuesday morning, but first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, former Prime Minister Dr. Minnis defending his government's decision to allow Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines to lease property on Paradise Island for $140,000 per year for 150 years. In the House yesterday, Minnis saying that the standard lease time is 100 years and that he's certain that RCCL, Royal Caribbean, would have no problem reverting to 150 from 150 to 100 years. He said that the land, which is on the western end of Paradise Island, has been the subject of controversy in recent months, responding to Seabreeze MP Leslie Miller-Bryce, who, during her contribution in the House, blasted the deal. Minnis said that the deal was in the best interest of the Bahamian people. Bahamian businessman Toby Smith said he planned to develop the land into his own beach club after receiving a letter from the government dated January 7th, 2020. Royal Caribbean, however, is interested in developing a beach excursion on the island, noting that it plans to greatly increase the number of passengers it brings into Nassau in the future, and citing a need for more options for guests when they leave the ship when in port. Another row erupting in the House yesterday, a testy and heated discussion between House Speaker Patricia DeVoe and several members of the opposition. At one point, the Speaker threatened to remove a member from the chamber. As he defended his government's decision to decrease value-added tax to 10% and impose the tax on breadbasket items, Prime Minister Philip Davis said the IMF recommended to the previous government that if it did not change its VAT structure, the tax would need to be raised to 15%. Davis said this was discussing this as he led off debate on the supplementary budget and amendment bill. Davis saying, quote, "When we came to office, analysis performed by the IMF indicated that if the government didn't change its VAT structure, that would have to be raised to 15%. Davis went on to say, quote, "I know you all remember that the member for Killarney told the Bahamian people that he went to election 8 months early because the country faced headwinds and tough decisions. We said at the time that he wanted Bahamians to vote before he raised their taxes, and this major tax increase appears to be what he had in mind. Raising VAT to 15% would have turned headwinds into a hurricane." Minnis did not explain what he meant when he said headwinds were coming, and he led the F&M to a defeat in the September 16th general election. And a Supreme Court judge deciding that the court battle surrounding who gets responsibility for the body of 4-year-old Deanya Bella Walker will be heard in closed session. But Justice Lauren Klein said he expects a decision to be handed down by the end of the week. He said it was to protect the dignity of the deceased and because criminal proceedings are underway. Klein said that when the court is ready to rule, it will be delivered in open court. Bella's maternal grandmother, Mona Lisa Walker, is seeking to have her body removed from Serenity Funeral Home, allowing her and perhaps her mother to make funeral arrangements. In court yesterday, Walker was represented by attorney Bjorn Ferguson. Overseas, Barbados stopped pledging allegiance to Queen Elizabeth II today as it shed another vestige of its colonial past and became a republic for the first time in history. Several leaders, dignitaries, and artists, including Prince Charles and Rihanna, attended the ceremony that began late Monday in a popular square where the statue of a well-known British lord was removed last year amid a worldwide push to erase symbols of oppression. Fireworks peppered the sky at midnight as Barbados officially became a republic, with screens set up across the island so people could watch the event that featured an orchestra with more than 100 steel pan players and numerous singers, poets, and dancers. It was also broadcast online, prompting a flurry of excited messages from Bajans living in the U.S., Canada, and abroad. The drive to become a republic began more than 2 decades ago and culminated with the island's parliament electing its first-ever president last month in a 2/3 majority vote. Barbados Governor General Sandra Mason was sworn in before dawn on Tuesday as the island marked its 55th anniversary of independence from Britain. The 72-year-old Mason is an attorney and judge who also served as ambassador to Venezuela, Colombia, Chile, and Brazil. She'll help Prime Minister Mia Mottley lead the wealthy Caribbean island of more than 300,000 people that is dependent on tourism, manufacturing, and finance. Barbados didn't need permission from the UK to become a republic, although the island will remain a member of the Commonwealth realm. It's an event that the Caribbean hasn't experienced since the 1970s, when Guyana, Dominica, and Trinidad and Tobago became republics. And the World Health Organization warning that the global risk from the Omicron variant is very high based on the early evidence, saying the mutated coronavirus could lead to surges with severe consequences. The assessment from the UN Health Agency, contained in a technical paper issued to member states, amounted to WHO's strongest, most explicit warning yet about the new version that was first identified days ago by researchers in South Africa. It came as a widening circle of countries around the world reported cases of the variant and moved to slam their doors in an act now ask questions later approach, while scientists race to figure out just how dangerous the mutant version might be. In sports, Bahamas' senior men's national basketball team, a little more competitive Monday, at least for the first half of play, but it wasn't enough. By the time the second half of basketball rolled around, the team slipped into a helpless state, falling victim to a barrage of three-point shots and inside power play by the Canadians. Canada rolling again, winning emphatically 113-77. In Santo Domingo and Dominican Republic. Canada now has 2 wins in the opening window of the FIBA International Basketball Federation America's World Cup qualifiers. The Bahamas fell to a winless 0-2 record, losing both games convincingly. They lost the opening game to Canada 115-73. On Sunday, dropping both games, the Bahamas were still in the game at the half, as we said, trailing just 58-46. But it wasn't enough. You can read about it. You can read about it in today's Guardian Sports section. And from the NFL, the Washington football team getting a win over the Seattle Seahawks, 17-15, for its 3rd win in a row. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for a first look at weather. Your weather for today, we've got a cold front over the southeast Bahamas that's going to continue to quickly exit the area, while high pressure progressively builds over the northern islands. For all areas today, look for variably cloudy and mild conditions with the chance of a few light, spotty showers, mainly near the frontal boundary through tonight. Winds north to northeast at 10 knots or less in the northwest Bahamas, north to northeast at 10 to 15 knots in the central Bahamas, but occasionally gusty in the southeastern islands. Seas 1 to 3 feet, but slightly higher along Atlantic exposed shorelines. That's mainly in the northwest Bahamas, but 2 to 4 feet in the central islands, and slightly higher in gusts in the southeast Bahamas. It's about 69 degrees right now in Nassau. Look for highs getting up to around 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 64 Fahrenheit, 18 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have an extended outlook and a look at the tropics on this final day of the Atlantic hurricane season for 2021. That's coming up after traffic in just a bit. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're discussing today's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
We are working to protect our country, our people, and our livelihoods so that we can move forward. The vaccine is safe. The vaccine is easy. The vaccine is essential for our recovery. If we want to rebuild our economy, if we want to get back to our jobs, if we want to get back to our lives, our families, we must do this together. Your child needs nutrients every day, and Enfagrow has DHA and iron, which supports your child's mental development. Enfagrow has components which cow's milk does not contain. Support your toddler's growth and complement their diet with Enfagrow. Let's fuel the wonder. This product is not intended to be a substitute for breast milk. Milk does not contain DHA but contains calcium and other nutrients.
For 38 years, Strachan Commercial Pest Services has provided trained, certified technicians while using environmentally safe, industry-standard products. Pests can devastate your business. Together, we will ensure adequate sanitation standards and safe pest exclusion methods. Uncontrolled pest problems lead to significant financial loss due to food contamination, business disruption, and stock waste. Strachan provides detailed solutions protecting your business and reputation. Strachan, #1 in pest control services.
RBC has been growing with the Bahamas for over 110 years. We are committed to deepening our relationship with existing clients and forging new ones in the future. With investments in youth, education, and environmental initiatives, we're dedicated to helping you and our communities grow. We're here to help you flourish. We're RBC. RBC Royal Bank.
Technology makes every day in life just a little bit easier. Whether it's for joy, productivity, or creativity, Custom Computers has all the latest gadgets to conquer any obstacle. Imagine automating mundane tasks with tech and living a freer, richer lifestyle, all while staying on top of your goals. The path to freedom could fit in the palm of your hand. Discover tomorrow's technology today at Custom Computers on Patton Street, Cable Beach, and Caves Village through the Blake Road entrance.
You can win. You can win. Everybody can win with Esso this Christmas. Win with Esso every week in the Fill Up and Win this Christmas promotion. Simply spend $25 or more in fuel, write your name, email, and telephone number on the back of your receipt, and drop it in the entry box provided for your chance to win loads of weekly prizes. Promotion ends December 22nd, 2021. Terms and conditions apply. Visit bettergasmileage.com/fill-up-and-win for more details. The Esso brand is a trademark of ExxonMobil Corporation and is used under license.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that this is the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. 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 Wake up, wake up.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Don Sargent. Don Sargent, good morning. Don Sargent. Is he muted? Yeah, I think he's muted. Okay, so we'll get back with Don in a bit. Folks, you can join our conversation this morning. We're going to be on Twitter. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969. Make sure you follow us. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Email us, morningblend@nasgard.com. And you can text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 4224796. Standard text rate supply. Coming up this morning, more weather and traffic. And in our 7 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking about Barbados. Barbados overnight becoming a republic, severing its ties with the monarchy, although it will remain in the Commonwealth. And It's a big moment for them. They now have a president replacing their governor general. But many have been saying that the Bahamas needs to be going in this direction for various reasons, although not everybody's on the same page with how we should do it. But we're going to talk about that this morning. Every week we hear people voice their displeasure with politicians swearing their allegiance to the Queen and her heirs and successors. That's one of the reasons. There are many others why we might need to think about this. We're going to talk about that this morning with our special guest. Then later, we've got another drawing of the Bahamas COVID vaccination raffle. And then in Morning Blend Business, we'll tell you about the Nassau Cruise Port and BAIC Authentically Bahamian Trade Show that's coming up. So a lot to get to. We've got Don back. Yes, we've got Don Sargent with us. Good morning, Don.
How you doing?
Doing well.
Great.
Okay, we finally hear you. Hope you're doing wonderful. Okay, let's begin with what's in the news. And in the news, former Prime Minister Minnis defending the 150-year lease agreement with Royal Caribbean. Says it's the deal that it was in the best interest of Bahamians. He was responding in the House yesterday after coming under fire from Seabreeze MP Leslie Miller, who blasted the deal. She said, quote, "When we see deals such as this, we have to be angry. To offer a major cruise line a 150-year lease on Paradise Island is the height of incompetence and disrespect for the Bahamian people." Minnis, though, says that the plan would have benefited many Bahamians. For more on this, take a listen to this report from our partners at R News and Christina Dragovich.
To offer a major cruise line a 150-year deal. Let me repeat, a 150-year lease on Paradise Island is the height of incompetence and disrespect for the Bahamian people.
Royal Caribbean Cruise Line is interested in developing the beach excursion on Paradise Island as it seeks to boost passenger numbers.
It has always been the government's policy that we do not sell crown land to foreigners or grant crown land to foreigners. As a matter of fact, we look at the global picture as to the advantage of leasing crown land to foreign nationals rather than one or two individuals benefiting. We look at the global picture to ensure that the nation would benefit.
All right. So let's get your reaction to this. And he also said in the House yesterday, Minnis, that, quote, "I accept that and I am certain that RCCL would have no problem with reverting from 150 to 100 years. RCCL would embark on a $55 million investment on that particular property. In fact, they are even increasing that. There would be many jobs created for Bahamians. All of the investment on the property itself would be run by Bahamians, and RCCL would assist Bahamians with funding to ensure that they are intimately involved. There would be 80 Bahamians who would be involved in the construction, excellent salaries. Upon completion of the project, there would be an additional 150 to 200 Bahamians who would be hired at a salary of $30,000 to $40,000 per annum. And most importantly, RCCL presently brings about 1 million tourists to the Bahamas. With this project, The numbers would increase, which would benefit all Bahamians, especially those within the hospitality and tourist industry. That's Hubert Minnis there yesterday in the House. Now, as you know, Bahamian businessman Toby Smith says that he plans to develop the land into his own beach club after receiving a letter from the government dated January 7th, 2020, agreeing to lease the land to his company, Paradise Island Lighthouse and Beach Club. Royal Caribbean is interested in developing it into a beach excursion on Paradise Island. Now, only part of the land intersects with each other, but they each have their own agreements, but there's a part that is in dispute there. Clint Watson, the press secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, said last week that the Davis administration is looking to reach an amicable resolution over the disputed beachfront property. All right, let's get your views on all of this. Leslie Miller-Bryce expressing the views of many Bahamians when they read that article, and I'm shocked at the number, 150-year lease, and Minnis admitting it himself, that usually it's 100. This is an odd comment. I'm certain that RCCL would have no problem reverting from 150 to 100. Really? Okay. What do you make of all of this?
They would have a problem with that.
I suspect they would. But like, oh yeah, no biggie, sure, whatever you want.
No, that ain't what that sound like. That sound like a situation, Dwight, of like when someone trying to hop out the bus window and they turn around and say, "Oh, you see me, you catch me." That's what that sound like to me. And also the next thing that perplexes me, Dwight, about this situation is I feel like deja vu. Like I've heard that line before that they're going to hire Bahamians at these salaries of $30,000 to $40,000, going to create lots of good new jobs for Bahamians. Don't they all say that, Dwight? And then when in actuality, when things happen, the picture doesn't look quite as peachy as politicians loves to paint these things, does it?
It's always.
I don't know. I have no trust in faith, especially considering the person whose mouth is coming out of. Zero trust there. I'm extraordinarily skeptical, as I'm sure lots of Bahamians are. Also, too, when questions were asked about this during his tenure in office, after this deal would have already been signed, none of these things were said, Dwight. It's just that now, after you're already out of office and everything, you have a lot to say about these deals, a lot to say about the decisions that were made that you just were silent about when you were in office. I'm sorry, Dwight, but no.
Yeah. And all of that is coming as the Prime Minister Davis vows that the government is going to be going through all the contracts that were made, to ensure that they weren't recklessly done. And so a lot of that came out yesterday about reckless use of public funds already in this fiscal year. So this is how it works. Unfortunately, you get the answers when you kick them out of office, and everything becomes transparent and open, sadly. But let's get your reaction to this, folks. What do you make of this? Give us a call. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. What do you say? You think, Minnis is right, that we do need more things to do. The people are complaining about how downtown is. And this would provide jobs, as he says. Don is not sure about the quality of the jobs, but perhaps the quantity. And there's room for both of these projects. No? But 150-year lease? Let's hear what you say. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, Dwight.
Good morning.
And good morning, Dawn.
Good morning.
And Dawn. Yeah, man, Minnis, I don't know. Every time Minnis open up his mouth, he gives me, he makes me understand why he's in the position he is in. Because the statement what this gentleman made, who Bahamian people he is referring to? Are these the same the people's time Bahamians he is talking about, or the Bahamian people would vote him out of order? Because we never got a clear understanding on who Bahamian people he was ever talking about throughout this his reign, right? So he continue to still be confusing to me. But I hope they just stop talk. I just hope he just stop talking, right? But when it comes to the Barbados lady, right? I think the Barbados, I want to give them, kudos to them, for making that transformative step, right? And I look forward for the Bahamas to eventually make that. Now, if Brave Davis don't do it, because he on a roll, but if he don't do it, then I show him my leader, Michael Pentard, can do it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
We don't hear any of them talk much about this.
No, but they need to be shamed. You see, and what this lady just did, I think she shamed the whole Caribbean, especially these men in these positions, what apparently cannot get from under the Queen gun, right? She shamed them, but these guys are, and we need more.
It's only a few of us. Only a few of us left. I mean, Trinidad and Guyana. They did it years ago. They did it years ago. So,
but it's still more us who still holding on to the Queen than who are not, right?
No. The number of countries in the Commonwealth who still have the Queen as head of state.
But still,
shocking.
11 or so, but still holding on.
But it's several more countries who don't have the Queen. It's still part of the Commonwealth, but still don't have the Queen as the head of state. So what's up with those countries? What's up with places like the Bahamas and Canada and Australia and Jamaica?
Yeah, it's like it appears that we love our slave masters more than are we fighting to see who's gonna be the last person to give up the ghost?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I hope we don't.
Probably be the Bahamas.
Your guys have it. I hope we don't reach the last one.
Okay. I'd bet money on it. It'll be the Bahamas will be the last one.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot. Prove me wrong, behaviors.
Something about that too, Dwight, is I was reading on the way that they're structuring the government. I think the governor general is being replaced by a president, but the prime minister is remaining, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. So I mean, there are different types of republic, and I don't like the type that. We're going to discuss that with our guest this morning. The types of republic, and I mean, you've just replaced. It's just a lateral move, essentially.
I want the type of republic that doesn't give pensions for life for political leaders.
Well,
that's the
kind
that I want.
You could change that right now if you want.
We ain't gonna change that right now. You know what I can happen. But I think most people should agree with that. Since we doing the whole making people contribute to their non-contributory pensions, if you want to be, a head of state of this country, whether it be a governor general or a prime minister for 2 terms, I don't think you should get a 6-figure pension for the rest of your life until the day that you die. Right, and nor should it go to your spouse.
Going way off track.
I'm not going way off.
No, you sure?
Because it's rigged.
Okay.
All this is rigged, Dwight.
Before we get to the Republic discussion, I just want to say, yesterday it hit hard when was it the AP or the BBC did a story, and the title of the story was Queen of Barbados, but only for one more day. And I say, boy, when you put it like that, we don't like to say that around here, but Elizabeth II is Queen of the Bahamas.
Yeah, we know.
Think about that. No, we don't say that. We don't say that. She's the queen, right? And she's on the money, and we've got a lot of things named after her and her family. But she's Queen of the Bahamas, folks. And no one listening to me right now who's on this island or anywhere in the Bahamas could become queen or king of the Bahamas. But somebody else is already the queen. Just Queen of the Bahamas. You got a Queen of the Bahamas. I think okay. Does that help you and make you feel good?
Well, would we be doing away with the titles and names, or are we still going to be using these colonial titles and names like Dame and the rest of them? Are we going to come up with our own stuff, or just abandon those things altogether?
We'll discuss that in our segment coming up. We'll discuss all of that coming up. Boy, let's get back to this, though. What are your views on this debate, what the former Prime Minister Minnis is saying about RC, Royal Caribbean, and this lease, and how this would be beneficial to Bahamians? Let's get your views. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Strachan. How you doing?
Doing well.
And to your co-host. Mr. Strachan, Dr. Minnis, I think he said yesterday that we don't like to sell land. 150 years, what do you think that is?
Well,
150 years? Who do you think will be around here when that lease up or when that lease come to an end?
Hopefully our children and grandchildren.
I doubt they'll be around either.
What? Where would they be?
Come on, 150 years.
Where would they be?
I think our great grandchildren will be around. That is a deal. I was surprised to hear that, man. 150 years. What that company might not even exist. I mean, she wish. I was surprised, and only $140,000.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. But anyway, yeah. Sometimes these politicians really amaze you. Last night in the House of Assembly, they were talking about don't treat us like children, right? I think that's the argument in the House Assembly they started last evening, right?
Yes.
Let me say this. It's about time somebody tell them something. I believe if they believe the Speaker of the House is calling them children, I call them clowns. Because their behavior over the years has been worse than primary school children. And I can guess if you go to some schools and ask the children in the school what you think about House Assembly, they'll tell you the same thing. They'll say the same thing. So when to hear them say as the last night to say we're not children, I was surprised because they act like clowns.
Okay.
So I hope they really get the message now, and there's a speaker who would crack down on their behavior, beating up on their shrugging across the room. Yeah, this is our time, be a judge now, and all that foolishness. I hope it stops now.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You are on Morning Blend.
Good morning, Dwight, and good morning to your co-host.
Hi. Good morning.
Man, Dwight, I like to give kudos to that lady who is in Barbados, the Republic of Barbados. You see, like I keep telling you young folks, nothing can change this country until the whole most school. I tell you, 80% of them get out of the way. They want to make no decision. They want a men. They ain't nothing for the baby people. My children, my grandchildren. Now they should be ashamed of themselves. If they like England and Australia and Canada, why don't they go move and live here? And let the real baby people who love this country take this country forward, man. Like, they should be ashamed of themselves. I talk about all the prime ministers of this country. Nobody want to do nothing but the baby people. They swear their leader to the queen, her heirs, and etc. That's why they treat us the way they treat us, That's all I got to say this morning, my brother.
So you want to become a republic?
Yes, long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nobody cares if we don't hang and don't do this. No, we can't harm ourselves, but we can't jump. That's discriminating, my brother. That's why that's why when they bring these things to us, when I'm not in this path.
Okay. Well, I don't know if some of those things would change, but okay, sure. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Like we said, we're going to talk about that in depth coming up in just a bit. Let's read some of your text messages. Someone says here, if the deal was so good, why didn't he table it or have a photo op and brag on the campaign trail about it? No, because the Bahamian people are the conch. Well, because the negotiations were ongoing and still ongoing. Remember, this is all tied up into the Grand Lucayan and all the stuff that's planned for Grand Bahamas. It's a very complex situation, and as some have theorized
but
before.
Come on. If you were a leader of the country, how could you fix your mouth to sell that deal to people? You could, even if him to even admit in House Assembly, 150 years is kind of long, but I'm sure they'd have no problem renegotiating 100. That's a hard sell. That's a hard pill to swallow to make people swallow in the first place. Yeah. He knew that would be unpopular.
Yeah, but you know what the problem is? Too many Bahamians just get up and say, we need more jobs. We need the government to get us jobs. You see, that's what they keep hearing. Not about the quality of the jobs, and not for people who are looking for careers. And so when they hear, I got to find jobs, they'll make crazy deals like this. They'll make crazy deals like this because that's all that people say. Not make it more attractive or feasible for me to open my own business or to come back after I've studied this specific career and be able to do that here as opposed to move to the Netherlands or something. They don't hear that type of talk, not from many people. Just, we need jobs. And there you go. Jobs right there.
Well, I guess in this case, the company would be paying a lease every year for it rather than giving a Chinese conglomerate free land day. So I guess.
What now?
What you mean, what now, right? You confused, eh? We have done that. We have given free land without paying anything. It's probably just, $1 an acre to a Chinese conglomerate for a hotel.
Yeah. Wow. Here's another.
So we have a history of making these sorts of deals.
Yeah. Here's another text. RCCL is already showing us what they think of Bahamians. Well, are they? If you're a business, you gotta do what you can get, right? Try to get what you can get. And if,
you got to
and if,
negotiate. Yeah,
right.
you fight to maximize how much you can make.
That's what you do when you're trying to buy something. You got to talk them down and like, well, what if I do this, right? So if you are weak enough to agree to it, and you're negotiating from a position of weakness, well then what? No, you got to do what you got to do. I can't blame them.
I'll give him the benefit of that. I want to say, I'll give him the benefit of that, but I'm very curious to know during the negotiations, like how did this progress? I would like to hear a breakdown of it, which we rarely, if ever. Sometimes a former prime minister would say some things in passing.
Listen, you know exactly what happened. Grand Bahama. That's all. Those two words. That's all you need to know. This is why. We got to give you whatever we can so you could take this Grand Bahama albatross off our backs. That's it. Would you sure you don't want a 200-year? You don't want a 200-year lease? Huh? If you get this Grand Lucayan Hotel. Okay, anyway.
But that was their poor decision to buy it in the first place.
Whose poor decision?
It isn't as if
the
that
government's
was
poor
something that was
decision?
thrown at them.
Whose poor decision? The government's poor decision?
The government decided to buy a Grand Lucayan Hotel.
That's a huge hotel, a beautiful hotel, and jobs, potential jobs.
Oh, there we go, Dwight.
What are you going to do? You just let it go? I mean, you might as well just sell Grand Bahama. Anyway. Okay. RCCL is already showing us what they think of Bahamians. But question, why do we still believe that we need foreigners to come to give us jobs? What happened to leasing for 20 years? Why are we not good enough to do this for ourselves? Why? Like I said, Grand Bahama. Another one, ask Mr. I don't know nothing about nothing, Prime Minister Davis, who was acting brand new, about the millions of dollars in contracts that were issued under his ministry while he was Minister of Works that he knew nothing about. Okay. All right. To Don's point, we will have 20 to 50 low-wage jobs. The cruise line will dock and ferry their passengers over to the island, and very little of that deal will be felt by Bahamian people. So again, call me when we get serious. Well, they've said that they're going to be working with entrepreneurs, but yeah, that's what they say. But
Bahama said that too.
Would you have some evidence to suggest otherwise? No, let's not go there. Anyway, this person says these companies always say they're going to hire Bahamians with high-paying jobs, and it always never happens. Always never. It was a bad deal. Also, I was surprised to hear the former Prime Minister had given out $400,000 in his constituency office just before the election. This one says, let's at least get rid of those George Washington wigs our lawyers wear. Those things look very stupid. And I'm sure they feel stupid. Another one, I gave up on the Bahamas, the Bahamian system 20 years ago. I gave up on it 20 years ago. But when you see deals like Royal Caribbean, that means special interest Bahamians benefit financially. But 150 years from now, you tell me that Bahamians will still be workers and not owners? Boy.
Yeah, that sounds what I could. You can be working now.
This one says here, now we know why minister never fully implemented a functional Freedom of Information Act. Okay. And this one says here, why do we always send a child to negotiate with a wolf and act surprised when the wolf leaves the meeting with a full belly? Okay. Sir, please explain to me why it's important for the country to remove the Queen as the head of state to the point where we have to label our former prime ministers as failures. Now, that last part, I don't know where that came from. But stay tuned. We're going to get into all of that in a bit, in just a few minutes. But what's the last part got to do with anything? Anyway, what manner of man is this? Even Jesus went away for a time. This man won't budge an inch. Who are we talking about here? Just note that one of those persons in the Senate has to be his chief advisor. Who else would want to be linked to him? Or do we know what's going on? Vote for them in the future, and you will see a revival of all the Minnis craziness because they were making the policy decisions. Minnis they're talking about. Okay. And examine Royal Caribbean's Coco Key Bahamian job experience, where expats are presently doing jobs that Bahamians can do. There are quite a few Bahamians over there, quite a few Bahamians working over there. And these cruise lines are always advertising in the papers looking for people. I don't know, though. I think I don't know if Bahamians are interested in some of these jobs. I'm not sure. But there are a good number of Bahamians over there. I wouldn't say it's a majority, but it's a good number.
It's a wonky situation. Well, the job situation, I think, is they would promise to say like so many of these jobs are going to be these things, but like what's tying them to the situation of if things change on the ground and the needs and requirements of the business model changes, then so will those numbers, right? Remember, the same thing was also promised with the point that there would be so much Bahamian involvement in construction, and both two administrations have had extraordinary difficulties trying to, get essentially the developer to comply. Lots of public outrage and backlash, ebb and flow of numbers. Bahama has done some good things. I'm not trying to throw Bahama under the bus and say it's all been bad, but I'm just saying the deal was the deal and it is what it is. Land went in the direction that it went. There was previous agreements under the former developer. And then things changed when the hotel property changed hands and a deal was struck. Remember that deal?
People in Bahama are like wondering right now, why is he talking about us in this? How are we getting this?
No, it's all. This is all how we negotiate these deals. Right. Remember, we had it in the past with Prime Minister Christie, when a voice note had leaked all over WhatsApp of saying that there was an economic citizenships, tax-free status for X amount of years. All these things was happening, and came out and said, no, that ain't happening. And then 48 hours later say, yeah, some of these things were discussed, but I don't sell Bahamian citizenship, especially for economic reasons, yada, yada, yada. And then we saw how the way that the deal went. I'm just saying, a lot of things happen behind the doors of negotiations that we are unaware of. But I think one thing governments have to always think about is, how do I sell this to the Bahamian people, right? A lot of people despise the fact that it was supposed to be tax-free status. There was lots of outrage. It's part of the reason they lost the election, actually. And bits and pieces of this leaked out. So the situation with Minnis, I'm really curious how he intended for this to go. Was it a situation of he would talk about this after he won a second term in office, and that's why he called things as early as he did? Or was it the plan to not discuss these things if the deals just be executed and you find out when it happened? Like, there is no scenario where 150 years and this current deal where Bahamians would have sat down and swallowed that and said that this is great, this is fine. You knew people would be outraged. And yes, Dwight, I understand. I recognize the criticism of persons who scream and shout all the time about we need jobs, 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 jobs. And there's a lot more complexity to this whole economic model of foreign direct investment that we have. But I'm just saying, perhaps there was another round of negotiations that was going to happen, but considering this document was signed in May, the government was extraordinarily coy, making very strange statements to the Attorney General at the time, Carl Bethel, including the Prime Minister, when asked about the situation, including the whole situation surrounding Toby, especially the whole, I think it was a statement, but Attorney General said it's very selfish, and all sorts of things were said. It just sent mixed messages entirely to the people, so lots of speculation took place. And then when you finally see this deal, it all seemed to just fall in place. Like, this is why they were doing the things that they were doing. It doesn't inspire confidence, Dwight.
Yeah.
Now, I do not know what was happening behind those closed doors, what was said, and the exact position the government took on the situation. Also considering that former tourism minister, Denisio de Aguilar, would have said, I think yesterday, that the government of the Bahamas had been bullied for successive years by the cruise ship industry to keep cruise ship passengers. I think it was a fee that the government put on them was $1 a passenger. And they've sought to raise that for quite some time, but were unsuccessful to do so. Hearing those things about the cruise ship industry and knowing the history, those advisories they put on the ships, the situation that happens out downtown, it doesn't necessarily inspire a lot of confidence in Bahamians. And I think the former administration did a great disservice of not, first of all, saying anything to the Bahamian people about the situation, knowing that there's lots of doubts and concerns about the cruise industry and the way that it operates in general. I have been inspired by some of the things that I've seen take place in terms of headquarters and stuff moving to the Bahamas and more operations moving here. But I'm just saying, Dwight, those concerns still haven't gone away. And when you allow for speculation to take place, as the former administration did, again, I understand the situation with negotiations. Exactly what's happening right now to Minnis and the reputation of his party is precisely the reason why you have to be so careful with this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, I say the answer is Grand Bahama, and this is why we've heard terms like egregiously bad deal. I have no doubt that the Royal Caribbean would have walked away from Paradise Island if Grand Bahama didn't. They would have walked away if they didn't get everything. They walked away from the Grand Bahama deal if things didn't go their way with Paradise Island. Right? And the government was desperate to make it look like it did not do something foolish by purchasing that hotel. And it was hoping that Royal Caribbean, by building a port, would kickstart something there as well. Right? And so this is all of this. And then we have not addressed the downtown situation. So anybody who comes in and says we're going to do something that will give the tourists something exciting to do, that makes people smile in the government, as opposed to addressing head-on the madness on Bay Street, especially east of East Street, and not being Mr. Nice Guy and taking these properties and doing something with it. Not asking people to man up and fix up your place and lease it or rent it at a reasonable rate. No, just taking the property. But no one's going to do that here because they wouldn't dare even think of it. So
who's going to pay for the campaign, Dwight?
Yeah. A couple messages as we go to the break. Someone says here, 150 years, the Bahamas will literally be Atlantis in 150 years. Oh, boy. That's very scary. Very scary. This one here says, why do we always bend over backwards for these cruise companies when their passengers tend to spend the least amount of money? Okay. I applaud Royal Caribbean for taking advantage of these stupid Bahamian leaders. Welcome done. RCC Royal Caribbean probably okay, can't read the rest of that one. Okay, sure. And this one says here, didn't they say when these plans are submitted, the cruise line has to list the jobs that will be needed? So we should be able to give a breakdown by department of the skills required and how many Portuguese and French-speaking Bahamians will be hired. Oh, my goodness. And the breakdown of salary is not average, but averages can hide the truth, like the quoted national average $30K salary in the Bahamas. Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, that's very true, that average. This one here, Minnis' failed attempt to justify his selling out of our country and its assets proves why he's delusional, untrustworthy, and not fit for leadership of our country. I pray God gives him his just reward. What? And this one says here, if we become a republic, we'll actually have to think. Okay. Let's take this call as we go to the break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Hi.
First thing about the deal, I agree with Don. Dr. Minnis knew probably that he could hear the deal is already being signed. There's nothing the Bahamian people can do except row about it. Okay? So these politicians need to get ahead of these stories. If you sign a deal, come to the Bahamian public, explain yourself in a sensible way where you can take questions from the media about what you did, but you hiding behind closed doors, signing these deals, and then you come later on trying to justify it. Now, the reason he did it didn't let the public know, because the election was coming. Okay? Politicians like to promote deals in the pipeline. They talk about deals in the pipeline, but this deal was already signed. So he should have said it. There's no excuse for him not telling the Bahamian public, because they working on behalf of us. Okay? They ain't working for themselves. And as far as this $30,000 to $40,000 a year salary, which key, where the cruise ship go, where the average salary on the key is $30,000 to $40,000. Anybody can do research on that. And finally, on this, what Barbados did, the Bahamas could go republic anytime they want, but we still enjoy the trappings. A lot of our people still enjoy the trappings of being part of the British monarchy, where we accept part of the British Empire, when Britain doesn't even have an empire as a national award to our people. We still accept in the order of the British Empire. Where is this British Empire in existence right now? Is there a British Empire now? But we love the trappings. Queen Elizabeth, she knows that she probably is going to be the last monarch that has all of these countries still a part of the British Commonwealth, with her being the head of state. I think the next whoever succeeder know that a lot of countries around the world are gonna go in a different direction from having the head of state of London. Even the people in England, a lot of people in London want to get rid of the monarchy, you know. A lot of people want to get, because it's costing them a lot of money. So we in the Bahamas, we should have been planning for our 50th year to go in our own direction. But we busy chasing these cruise ships who cornering our economic situation in the Bahamas by giving them what purpose. We already have Atlantis and the other big hotel or Cable Beach. What purpose is a little beach club on that little piece of Florida land is going to really do for our economy?
Oh,
and all
well.
we're doing is funneling people from Royal Caribbean who already paid for their cruise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who already paid for their cruise, probably going to the ship.
Again, but we can't blame Royal Caribbean for this.
No, I'm blaming them.
No. What are we doing? Why aren't we developing the things that the tourists want? We've got to do this. We've got to come up.
Our government people on both political parties have been doing this over the years.
Yeah.
We have been sitting in these rooms with these people is called the cruise ship mafia, because they gang up on these Caribbean countries to do things. They just gang up. But because
Only the weak ones.
Because our countries don't stand together, the Caribbean countries where all these cruise ships is called,
yeah.
they need to sail through our waters so they can make money, you know.
Yeah.
If they have to go around the Bahamas, it costs them more money. They have to come through our country to make money.
All right.
Okay?
Thanks
So
a lot. We did this to ourselves, though, by not offering something other than the hotels and their amenities.
And
We did this.
And this new government needs to learn that, look, if you're going to sign a deal, you come to the Bahamian people and let us know up front, okay? Because we can't stop you from signing nothing.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
you come to us up front, you be up front, get ahead of the story. Rather than things leaking out, then you got to come with your story. Be man and woman enough. He signed this deal just like Dr. Minnis did with Oban. What he claimed? He claimed the fella signed the deal before they had the ceremony.
Yeah, we got to go. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Folks, we got to at some point stop pointing the finger and blaming other people for what we've done, though, right? These people are going to come in here and take advantage of us because we clearly look like we should be taken advantage of. If you had it together, had a real tourism product, not what Atlantis and Bahamar offers, then these people won't feel they have to come in here and have private keys and have beach clubs. They could say, hey, you need to get off the boat and go and see Nassau. It's amazing. Why would they say that? We barely want to be. We barely want to be here. We barely want to be here.
And have a beach club. We'll see how that works out. I'm very curious now.
Yeah. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio.
You feel it, oh, yeah, the Sailorman sound, that's the Sailorman sound. Oh, that's the Sailorman sound.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Coronavirus update. Good morning. I'm Ed Donahue with an AP News Minute. Facing another challenge in his effort to contain the pandemic, President Biden is urging people not to worry too much about the Omicron variant. Here's the AP's Sagar Magani.
The president says the variant will keep spreading and inevitably reach the U.S.
This variant is a cause for concern,
but not a cause for panic.
We'll have to face this new threat just as we face those that come before it.
He's renewing calls for the roughly 80 million unvaccinated Americans ages 5 and older to get their shots, and for those who already have to get boosters. The president's also urging a return to indoor mask wearing in public places. Sagar Magani at the White House.
Dutch health authorities say the Omicron variant was already in the Netherlands when South Africa alerted the World Health Organization about it last week. Japan and France are reporting their first cases of the variant. I'm Ed Donahue.
Time for a first look at traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. Here's what's happening. We've got heavy traffic on Milo Butler Highway northbound from Fire Trail all the way up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway. Glad Road looking busy for you as well, about midway between Fire Trail and John F. Kennedy Drive. Blue Hill Road, as usual, busy this hour from St. Vincent Road all the way up to Independence Drive in the roundabout there. But especially north of Soldier Road, you'll be seeing that in the northbound lanes. Carmichael Road busy, eastbound heading toward Blue Hill Road and St. Vincent Road. I'm seeing some heavy traffic at the junction with Blue Hill as well. And elsewhere, we're seeing the traffic building in eastern New Providence. Northbound on Fox Hill Road, you'll be seeing that as you approach the intersection with Prince Charles Drive. And then at the pockets of the major intersections along Prince Charles Drive, you'll be seeing the heavy traffic there. Building traffic on Blue Hill Road and on Eastern Road, on Burnett Road rather, and on Eastern Road as well, westbound mainly. And just this notice from the Ministry of Works. Milling and paving work for Claridge Road expected to begin tomorrow. That's going to be going on from 9:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. and that's going to be happening for about 14 days. We'll remind you about that tomorrow as well on Claridge Road in New Providence. That's your Morning Blend Traffic Alert brought to you by RBC Royal Bank, Banking Reimagined. And time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by the Nassau Guardian. We've got a cold front over the southeast Bahamas that's going to continue to quickly exit the area, while high pressure progressively builds over the northern islands. For all areas today, look for variably cloudy and mild conditions with a chance of a few light spotty showers, mainly near the frontal boundary through tonight. Temperature-wise today, look for highs getting up to about 77 degrees Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 64 Fahrenheit, 18 Celsius. In your extended outlook, high pressure will continue to dominate the weather over the country, at least through Thursday, promoting mostly stable conditions. So for tomorrow, Wednesday, we're looking at mostly sunny and warm conditions with a chance of isolated showers, becoming mostly fair at night. Thursday, sunny and warm with a chance of isolated showers, becoming mostly fair at night. And on this, the last official day of the Atlantic hurricane season, tropical cyclone formation not expected through the next 5 days. That's your Morning Blend Weather Check. Brought to you by the Nassau Guardian. Pick up a copy today.
Hurricane season is here. If you're not prepared, it can really turn your life upside down. Fortunately, there's CG Atlantic General. Our people are here, ready to assist at a moment's notice, with protection like alternative accommodation for those who are displaced due to a storm. It's our priority to make sure you have what you need when you need it most. So when your life gets turned upside down, we can help to turn it around. CG Atlantic General. Good like that. Security and General Insurance Company Limited, trading as CG Atlantic General. Contact a CG Atlantic General broker today.
Open up this at the time of the year. BTC spreading Christmas cheer. To everybody whether far or near. Move to the rhythm of Christmas round here. Open up.
Enjoy huge smartphone savings plus a Christmas gift when you sign up or make a purchase. Connect and share the magic this Christmas with BTC.
Christmas make it BTC. It's the better choice for you and me. Move to the rhythm of Christmas. Move to the rhythm of BTC.
Conditions apply.
While it's encouraging that the national COVID-19 vaccine rollout is going successfully, it's not the only precaution to reduce the spread of the virus in our communities. It's important to continue practicing safety protocols because it is our social responsibility to protect ourselves and to protect others.
Wash your hands for a friend with a weaker immune system.
Only read and share information from trusted sources to avoid unnecessary panic.
I'm going to need y'all to avoid these large crowds. You could have loved ones at home who have underlying health conditions. Do it.
Practicing safety protocols is an act of brotherly and sisterly love.
The life you save may just be yours as well as your neighbor.
We will win.
We will win.
This message is brought to you by the PAHO WHO Bahamas and Turks and Caicos Country Office, the Ministry of Health, and the Healthy Bahamas Coalition.
Unlock the value of your home with an RBC home equity loan and do more for the holidays, like home improvements, investments, and build back your savings. When you switch your mortgage to RBC, experience the difference with no management fees, cash back on closing costs, and guidance from our mobile mortgage finance specialists. Learn more at rbc.com/Caribbean/equity loan and experience holiday joy with RBC. Offer extended to December 31st. Conditions apply.
It's a different kind of Christmas, but everything is here.
Yes, everything is here at Shop Smart Department Stores. 2 locations just for you. One on Mackey Street next to RBC and in the Prince Charles Shopping Plaza. Come on down. Everything is here.
And Shop Smart. And Shop Smart. And Shop Smart. Oh, everything is here.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
But the father said it, but I can't say it with them. You ready? Let's go back. All right. Sailboat, got the breeze to sail.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan with Don Sargent. We're going to talk more about the deal later in the show, the Royal Caribbean deal a little bit later maybe, or at another time. But we want to talk about some other things in the news before we get to our discussion about Barbados becoming a republic today and what this should mean to us in the Bahamas. We'll get to that in a second. All right, so this other story, I know a lot of people have been discussing this, Deania Bella Walker, and now the family feud, the battle about what should be done with her remains. This matter in court now, in the Supreme Court. Take a listen to the very latest in this report from our Kyle Joaquin.
A hearing got underway today before Supreme Court Justice Lauren Klein, with Bella's maternal grandmother, Mona Lisa Walker, seeking to have her body removed from Serenity Funeral Home, allowing her and perhaps Bella's mother to make funeral arrangements. Walker was in court with her attorney, Bjorn Ferguson, while Bella's father joined proceedings via Zoom. He was represented by attorney Maria Daxon. The judge informed the media of his decision to have the matter heard in private to protect the dignity of the deceased and because criminal proceedings are underway. He added he didn't want personal accusations that will be made during the hearing to be out in the public. Klein said when the court is ready to rule, it will be delivered in open court. As they are just getting started, he expects that to be by the end of the week. Police say Bella died on November 5th after suffering blunt force trauma, which resulted in punctured internal organs and broken ribs. The child's mother, Estonia Walker, has been charged with exposing her to grievous harm and cruelty, while Walker's boyfriend was charged with murder. She was in court today before Justice Gilomena Archer Mins seeking bail. The judge adjourned that matter until Tuesday. For the Guardian News Network, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
All right. Yeah, I think that's a good decision there to do it in private, but still feel some sort of way that this is even a matter that the family has to fight about. You know, just very, very, very sad about this. Meanwhile, MPs talking about this quite a bit yesterday, talking about violence in general, domestic-type violence situations against women and children, especially as we are in the middle of 16 days of activism globally against violence against women, and a special call out to all the MPs to state how they feel about these things. For more on this, take a listen to this report from our Jasmine Brown.
The hotly debated topics of domestic violence and marital rape were raised by the Anglerston MP who addressed Parliament moments after the House Speaker recognized the Zonta Club and its Say No to Violence campaign. Hannah Martin said the statistics are clear, noting the Bahamas has one of the highest rates of violence against women in the region.
It's a problem. This is a problem. And so in this particular period, we are bringing a focus to this issue, because when those of us who are parents, when we have girls, when we have daughters, Nobody wants their daughter to be the subject of violence or any sort of assault or assailing circumstance.
Hannah Martin said it is the responsibility of elected officials to commit to working to eliminate this problem. She called on the men in Parliament to state their position on marital rape legislation.
You know, someone said to me the other day, why are we asking the women about marital rape? What do the men think about it? Let go on the record so the country can know.
In 2017, a United Nations Special Representative on Violence Against Women said that the Bahamas is out of step with the UN's Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, as it has failed to criminalize all forms of marital rape. The Bahamas ratified the convention in October 1993. Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard also weighed in.
This idea that there can be no such thing as marital rape because two persons share a piece of paper or even an emotional bond that resulted in a marriage certificate, I mean, is absolutely ludicrous. The truth is, if a woman knows that her husband is extremely promiscuous, they still live together, she have good reason to believe that her life is at risk based on some sexual choices that he has made, she reserves the right to refuse submitting her body that could be exposed to something that could be deadly to her. She reserves that right.
In 2018, during an appearance before the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva, Switzerland, then Attorney General Karl Bethel said the government intended to criminalize marital rape. A bill was drafted and circulated among community stakeholders, but the Minnis administration made no movement on the issue before leaving office in September. Prime Minister Philip Davis recently faced backlash after he said that the issue was not a priority for his administration. He later tweeted that he believes marital rape is wrong and a national conversation is needed.
On the marital rape subject, I'm glad that the member for Cat Island, Rum-Keynes in Salvador has undertaken to bring that issue front and center in the Parliament, because it is a long overdue discussion that must end in something concrete that the society can measure.
Reporting for Guardian News Network, I'm Jasmine Brown.
All right. Yeah, I think Glennis Hannah Martin is right. I was thinking the same thing myself. Actually, why not ask everybody? Why only ask the women in the house? Hopefully we'll hear soon. We'll find out soon what everybody has to say, if they will indeed answer, which we saw that was a challenge before dawn. Some not willing to answer where they stand on these matters.
Well, hopefully they're not like some previous members who would have stated that it's a private matter. So, you know.
Oh, I'm sure more of that's coming. All right. Let's take our break. When we come back, we'll get into this discussion about a republic. Is it time for the Bahamas to do this? We're going to get into that with our special guest this morning. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Rev customers already get more channels, more sports, and more speed. Now, we're giving more Christmas with up to $250,000 in cash and prizes. Sign up or upgrade to Rev Trio to win prizes like rent and mortgage payments, trips to see your favorite sports teams, plus up to $20,000 in our Rev Cash Vault. Want to win more Christmas? Call 601-8992 today and ask for Rev Trio. Rev, you and us together.
Do you miss social events with family and friends? Attending social events or dining in your favorite restaurant? The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is available and you only need one shot. One and done and fully vaccinated for now. The more persons vaccinated, the more these pleasurable activities are possible in safer environments. There are many reasons to get vaccinated, but the most important one is that you and your loved ones are protected. To be safe, continue to wash your hands, wear your face mask, practice physical distancing, and get vaccinated.
This message has been brought to you by the Ministry of Health and this radio station.
Technology makes every day in life just a little bit easier. Whether it's for joy, productivity, or creativity, Custom Computers has all the latest gadgets to conquer any obstacle. Imagine automating mundane tasks with tech and living a freer, richer lifestyle, all while staying on top of your goals. The path to freedom could fit in the palm of your hand. Discover tomorrow's technology today at Custom Computers on Patton Street, Cable Beach, and Caves Village through the Blake Road entrance.
Janae's Christmas Wonderland is open under the Big Tent. Get 20 to 50% off selected Christmas decorations. Restrictions apply. Trees in pink, frosted green or white in a variety of sizes. LED and laser lights, a large variety of tree ornaments, lighted angels, Santa tree toppers, bright and lively colored Christmas balls, garlands, wreaths, red and white stringed cranberry, tree skirts, stockings, and lots more. Add flowers, picks, and decorative mesh to brighten up your home or office this holiday season. And don't forget the toys at Janae's Chesapeake Road. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Janae's Limited. WhatsApp 817-3295.
Wendy's and Coca-Cola are back with $45,000 worth of upgrades for you. Upgrade your premium lunch combo to a large or purchase a large salad and a Coke product and get your scratch card for a chance to win thousands of prizes instantly. You can win a PlayStation 5, plane tickets with spending money, weekend hotel stays, an iMac, iPads, iPhone 13, tool sets, washer and dryer set, and thousands more prizes. Visit Wendy's Facebook page for more details on the Upgrade My Life promotion. Rules and restrictions apply.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Don Sargent. It makes me cringe. It makes me cringe when I hear that sometimes. Right? It's just like, oh, dear God. Hell, oh, please stop it. But Barbados.
Whips on my back.
Oh, Barbados officially severing ties with monarchy, but it will remain a part of the Commonwealth. Overnight, Barbados becoming a republic. And joining others in the Caribbean like Guyana, Dominica, and Trinidad and Tobago, which became republics in the 70s. Barbados celebrating its independence from the United Kingdom today, November 1966. And as we're learning from the Associated Press that some things are going to change. Barbados's flag, coat of arms, and national anthem will remain the same, but certain references will change according to journalists there, saying that the terms royal and crown will no longer be used, and so the Royal Barbados Police Force will become the Barbados Police Service, and that crown land will be referred to as state land going forward. All right, so congratulations to Barbados. We're very happy for them. And, of course, it begs a question. When will the Bahamas do this? Is it time for the Bahamas to do this? Do we need to do this? We're going to put this question to our guests who've been here before talking about this, but we welcome them back, Dr. Nicolette Bethel and Dr. Chris Curry. Both of you, welcome, as always, to Morning Blend.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Yes, good morning.
All right, so let's get your reaction to this. Of course, Mia Mottley, the Prime Minister of Barbados, has been talking about this for a long time, saying that this was desperate. It was time for the country to move beyond the monarchy. But let's get your reaction to that, and then we'll get to the Bahamas and what we need to be thinking about. Who wants to start us off there?
Well, I think Chris. Go ahead, Chris. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm elated. I think it's a great move on the part of Barbados. I think the symbolism of colonialism is real when you look at whether we're talking about the term crown land, whether we're talking about the Queen as the head of state, which is the case in many territories that inherited that system after independence, but didn't change to a republic. And so the Westminster system, as you know, is still in place, but they are now removing the status of the Queen as the head of state and moving towards a republic. I would say there are different configurations of a republic. They did not take the more radical expression of it, I suppose. Right. They chose instead to remove the signature of the Queen as the head of state, but I do believe they've retained the Westminster model of government, the bicameral nature, and all of that. But still, I think it's a good step. I think it's posturing in the right way. And yes, I also look forward to the Bahamas heading in that direction.
Yeah. Dr. Nicola Bethel. Yep. Mm-hmm.
No, I was going to say, I feel the same way about Barbados. I personally think that in the Bahamas, we need a lot more education on what political systems are, what a republic is, what a republic within the Commonwealth is, because you've mentioned the countries in the Caribbean, but there are also a number of countries in the Commonwealth that are also republics, India being probably the most significant that comes to mind.
The majority of them are republics.
Of the Commonwealth countries.
Commonwealth countries,
the African. Yes. The major Commonwealth countries, what were once known as the White Dominions, remain under the monarchic system, even though Australia has been making republican noises. But yes, many of the African countries are also republics. So there's a lot to be said for those of us who have the African connection and that history of enslavement and colonization to take that step. But it does not, I think what we need to do in the Bahamas is we need to recognize that it does not necessitate getting rid of the Westminster system. And I think that there is a lot of, what can I say? I think what we need to be thinking about in the Bahamas is that there are many more options out there than just the kind of Republican system that we see in the United States of America, which is hugely flawed. And I would resist our going in that direction, because one of the things that we have under the Westminster system is the ability to accommodate a range of perspectives within the parliament, within our actual political governing system.
All right, let's pick that up on the other side of this break. We're going to be right back with that thought there. Nicola Bethel, stay with us. While high pressure progressively builds over the northern islands. So for all areas today, we're looking at variably cloudy and mild conditions with the chance of a few light spotty showers, mainly near the frontal boundary through tonight. Temperature-wise, look for highs getting up to around 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 64 Fahrenheit, 18 Celsius. In your extended outlook, high pressure will continue to dominate the weather across the country through Thursday, promoting mostly stable conditions. So tomorrow, Wednesday, should be mostly sunny and warm with a chance of isolated showers, becoming fair at night. Thursday, mostly sunny and warm with a chance of isolated showers, again becoming fair at night. And the tropics are quiet on this, the last official day of the Atlantic hurricane season for 2021. Tropical cyclone information not expected through the next 5 days. That's your morning blend weather check, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. What's first for you comes first for us. And at 8:23, time for another check of your weather, of your traffic for today, brought to you by Bahamas, by Royal Bank of Canada. in traffic. And just a reminder, a notice about what's going to be happening tomorrow, beginning December 1st on Claridge Road in New Providence. The milling and paving work is desperately needed on Claridge Road will take place between 9:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. That's going to be happening for about 14 working days. Again, that's starting tomorrow on Claridge Road. In your real-time traffic at this hour, we are seeing a number of hot spots for you this morning. Milo Butler Highway, as usual, from Fire Trail all the way up to Tawny Williams Darling Highway. Heavy traffic in the northbound lanes. Gladstone Road also busy for you, but just about midway between Fire Trail and JFK Drive. So a slightly better alternate route for you than Milo Butler Highway. Blue Hill Road is also busy from just south of St. Vincent Road and especially north of Soldier Road in the northbound lanes. But you'll see that traffic as you get closer to Carmichael Road, which is building as well eastbound at this hour to Blue Hill Road. Heavy traffic there. Then there's Prince Charles Drive at the major intersections. You'll be seeing heavy traffic there. East Street, south of the roundabout with East-West Highway, Independence Drive, mainly in the northbound lanes. Soldier Road near Windsor Place. And then Soldier Road north of Prince Charles Robinson Road, especially as you make your way to the intersection with Village, Wolf, and Bernard Roads. And then Eastern Road from east of San Souci to about Johnson Road, you'll be seeing that heavy traffic in the westbound lanes, and then pockets along Shirley Street. So a lot of heavy traffic spots this morning. Good luck to you. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend Traffic Alert brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. Banking reimagined. And we're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Don Sargent. We are talking about becoming a republic, whether the Bahamas needs to take a page from Barbados' book and seriously consider this. We were talking with Dr. Nicolette Bethel and Dr. Chris Curry. Nicolette Bethel, before the break, you were making a point about the type of republic that we should consider and that there are many different options out there, not necessarily to do what Barbados did or what the U.S. has become. Let's talk more about that and getting people to understand that there are other options out there.
Yeah, I think what I wanted to say was that when we tend to talk about Republican activity and republics in the Bahamas, we tend to only think about the United States of America because that tends to be the only republic with which we're familiar. And we also seem to think that there's like a binary opposition between the Westminster system and a Republican system, when in fact there are many options, and we should be, to be a republic simply means to get rid of a monarch, i.e. the Queen of England, as our head of state. That's all it means. That means replacing her with another head of state, which is what Barbados has done. So I think that's a direction in which we will all be heading. Because while I believe that there's a global fondness for Queen Elizabeth, I'm not so sure that we are as interested and as invested in the rest of the British monarchy as we are in the Queen.
Yeah.
So I think Republican discussions are going to come up whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
If I could chime in on this,
yes.
I think it's worth noting historically that you have different models related to configurations related to geography. In the medieval period, for example, you had city states essentially that had become Republican. When the U.S. Gained independence through the Revolutionary War and became a republic, that was the first time really where the Republican model was tested over a large, expansive territory. And since then, we've had modern nation states embracing republicanism in different forms. I would argue one of the things that we would have to consider is we are the largest Atlantic world archipelago with a chain of islands stretching from the northwest to the southeast over a large body of water. How would a Republican model then work in the context of us being an archipelagic nation? Would we adopt a federal system where you would have island representation, Or would you do something different based on population, representation by population? These are conversations that need to be had. And the point is, I agree completely with Nicolette that there are different brands and styles of republicanism. There isn't a one brand for all kind of fit. And so we have to look at what works best for us if we are going to go down that road.
Many have noted that what Barbados did, similar to what Trinidad and Tobago did, a symbolic head basically as the president, as opposed to directly voting for the president. I want to get your views on that. And what do you think? And what would be better for us?
Well, following up on what Chris has said, and I think maybe this is what you had in mind when you invited me to come on. I think that my approach is way more radical than simply removing the Queen as head of state. As I say, I think that is a discussion that's going to become moot. I think the Commonwealth, once Queen Elizabeth passes on, is going to make a Republican turn in general. But I think that we need to consider exactly what Chris said, the idea of the archipelago, the idea of the size of our country, the idea of the fact that we are supremely underdeveloped as a nation, given the amount of land and sea and territory that the Bahamas covers, and what opportunities we have and how we can best use those opportunities. I think that the idea of a federal government, a federation, devolving power from the center is absolutely critical if we want the Bahamas to flourish. We have a very, I don't know what to call it. We have a very limited, myopic, tunnelized view of ourselves. We tend to think of ourselves as a small country that can't take any more people, when in fact, we are a large country which is very underpopulated. But the problem that we face and the truth of the smallness is that we are governed by a single government in one single part of the archipelago, and that is problematic. I think that in the discussion regarding republicanism, we also have to talk about this idea. And to get back to the question you asked, that means we have to talk about expanding our democracy, increasing our elected officials, an elected Senate, as well as an elected president. But if we elect a president, what would be the purpose of the president? What would be the powers of the president? Do we want a presidential model like they have in the United States of America? I am not sure. I don't know that we want that, given the kind of country that we have. Maybe we need a more balanced kind of thing. Maybe there's nothing wrong with a ceremonial president and a working prime minister under a Westminster Republican model. We need to think about it.
Chris Curry, what are your views on that?
I think Chris is gone.
Is he gone? I know he had to leave early, but oh boy. Okay. So we'll get him back for that. Very interesting there. And there's
But hold on, Dwight. I do have a question though.
Yep.
Before we get to the point of being a republic, I think the major hurdle, I don't know how we're going to overcome that, is you have to first amend the Constitution or change the Constitution in general. And I think it'll be a hard sell, even if Queen Elizabeth, moves on. And someone else becomes the king / or queen of England. I think it'll still be a hard sell to convince a lot of people who become very entrenched in this idea that the Constitution is a perfect document, or that by changing some fundamental ways our government operates in the Constitution, the government is trying to sneak other things in there that people may not approve, which will sink the whole entire exercise of trying to move towards republic. And my question would be, how would we approach that sort of issue when it comes to constitutional change?
So Dawn, I don't actually agree with you on that. I think that we can't judge the future by the past. And the problems of the past were problems in delivery and discussion, and they have laid a foundation. We also have a generational shift. People in your generation are more open to alternatives than people in my generation, right? At the same time, I think that we can't overlook our history as a nation populated by loyalists, right? Loyalists meaning people who rejected the Republican model of the United States of America and fought for the British crown in the Revolutionary War. lost and who were given land in the Bahamas. That tradition is strong and maybe under-examined. But I think that having conversations and trying to determine what we want and need, and probably more what we need than what we want to govern our nation, is the place to start. We don't start with a constitution. We need to start with a conversation. And then once we have been able to have the conversation and build consensus, the constitution is going to take care of itself. Just to refer to history, you could have made exactly the same argument in 1960. And yet by 1973, we had a whole constitution. So change can happen really, really quickly when the will is there. And yeah, I don't see the constitutional change as being the obstacle.
Yeah.
I think the obstacle is getting the discussion
Right. Yeah.
going.
Like you said, education. And this text here is a prime example. This person says, our governments cannot serve its people now, and you're discussing becoming a republic? Seriously? Family Islands only exist during election campaigns. Imagine a republic. At the end of the day, governments need to figure out how to serve all of its people instead of giving its full attention to Nasuvians. But this goes back to what you were saying earlier, Nicola Bethel, that right now the model that we have, that's almost designed to do that. As central government based on New Providence will be often myopic and not be able to focus on the tentacles, the other parts, the outlying parts of the country. And
that's the beginning. Yeah, that's the beginning of the education, right? We when we think about government, we need to understand what we're thinking about. We're thinking about a colonial model whose only purpose was to collect taxes, such taxes as we would be able to, as the Bahamas generated, which was not much, to remit to Britain. That is the model that we have retained for the last 48 years.
Yeah.
And that is not a model that serves any kind of nation correctly. So we need to have the discussion about the republic so that we can consider these things. We need to have discussions about democracy and what different parts of the country deserve in terms of government. We have to have those discussions. If we just sit back and wait for the so-called government to do its so-called job, it's doing its job. It's collecting money from all of the islands, and that is all that it was designed to do.
Yeah. Another a trend with the text messages that we're getting, people are saying that our leaders will never allow this, basically. That kind of talk, we hear that often when we talk about local government for New Providence, that the leaders won't allow this. Why do we talk like this? What do you take away from that? What do you get from that?
We remain colonized, and I think that all the points that I've been making, these are just illustrations of that. We're colonized by the very government that we have. The idea that we are subject to our leaders is a holdover from this idea that there is some power out there controlling our fortunes, when in fact, in a democracy, we are the leaders. The people who sit in parliament are our representatives. And that is the critical and the crux of the matter. We have to take, rather than saying our leaders will never allow this, we need to give our leaders no choice at all. And we actually do have that power. Leaders do seem to consider what we want when it's time for them to get their positions conferred upon them through election. And they also follow what the most vocal of us say when it comes to leaving in place laws that are clearly out of date, like the marital rape exception that has been being talked about in the news. So the leaders will do what they think people want them to do. It's not that they're going to allow anything or not allow anything. I agree that there's some resistance. People want to have the power that they thought they were going to get. But if they realize that power, that the people want something different, leaders will follow the people.
Yeah. Now, both you and Chris Curry mentioned it. Being an archipelago creates some unique challenges for the Bahamas. And you've mentioned it, and others have talked about it, that perhaps a federal republic system might be more in line with the direction we should be going. Let's talk a little bit more about that, how that would work in the decentralization of the government and allowing different regions within the Bahamas some form of self-governance. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so first of all, I want to say that being a federation and being a republic are not necessarily one and the same thing.
Right.
Again, we tend to conflate them because our closest neighbor, the United States of America, have the two of them going together. Mm-hmm. But then a little bit further afield, there are a number of federations which are both in the Caribbean and more particularly in Canada, which have the Westminster model. Right. Canada, Australia, their federations. So what a federal government does is that it devolves it creates tiers of governance. So the model with which I'm most familiar with is the Canadian model, in which you have the federal government of Canada, which makes decisions for the entirety of Canada, which is complicated by the fact that Canada has two European traditions that it has chosen to accommodate. And now it has also chosen to accommodate a third, which is the indigenous governments of the North. But the Canadian government oversees the fortunes of the whole country. But things that affect the people at a provincial or municipal level, the power to make those decisions rests with those places. So in Canada, for example, you'll have the Governor General of Canada, but each province has its own lieutenant governor and its own parliament and its own legislations and its own police force and to some degree judiciary, but not completely. Different different federational models have different iterations of this. But the point is that the things that we associate with government are devolved to the local area rather than being kept tightly in the hands of people in one place that have no real knowledge, interest, or care about things outside of that place.
And those provinces are independently wealthy and have
a variety. Yeah, absolutely. Have different economic systems, have different industries, have different developmental projects, have different government politics. Western Canada tends to have a different political party in power than Toronto, than Ontario, and Quebec has its own parties, and Atlantic Canada has its own models. So yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely something to look at, and it's serving Australia and Canada quite well, even though they are not republics. Federal system definitely working there. But the discussions, as you say, we're not having these talks. Just a few people on radio once in a while, but yet we complain about the lack of development on some of the islands and even here in New Providence. So you do wonder what we are expecting by keeping the system the way that it is without advancing it in any way. All right, we're getting a lot of calls in and text messages. Let's take a few of these before we have to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on Morning Blend. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. All right, good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, good morning, Dwight.
Yes, good morning.
How things with you, man?
Doing well.
Okay, listen, are you a little off subject this morning?
No, let's not do that, though. We got to keep on topic. Maybe you want to call us back.
Yeah, I kind of have 30 seconds of your time.
We're right in the middle of this one, though. We'll get back to you. Okay, let's take this one here. Good morning, caller. We are talking about becoming a republic, if that's the direction we need to be going right now. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning to all.
Hi, good morning.
The issue isn't so much about becoming a republic, right? It's about, and the Westminster, they just talk about we can hold on to the Westminster system. The Westminster system is a parliamentary system, and one where it's the worst in the world. You know what I'm saying? This is place past the post thing is what we need to get rid of. We need some proportional representation. How does one get 50% of the vote? Or even 48% of the vote and still win by a majority. You see what I'm saying? This is why we get islands like Cat Island with sparsely populated and many others. You know what I'm saying? That forms the government. You know, the equitable representation is what's needed. You know, that's principle. You know, but you know, and the parliament, the system in the United States, that realize the separation of powers realized there. But you know what I'm saying in that aspect. You know, but the first past the post thing, that in itself is corrupt. Thank you.
Okay, all right, thanks a lot. Nicola Bethel, what do you think of that?
No, that's exactly the kind of conversation we should be having. Absolutely. If we're going to talk about changing or adjusting our government, we need to talk about all of these things. He's absolutely right. It's lunacy. But first past the post is not necessarily inherent with the Westminster system because Australia does not have a first past the post voting system. They have a ranking system that could be looked at. So when we talk about these things, we should be aware that there are many different ways, but I absolutely agree. With the caller. First past the post is a highly undemocratic way of going about selecting your governing officials.
All right. Let's take another call, and then we'll take a quick break. Good morning, caller. You are on Morning Blend.
Yes, good morning, Dwight. Good
Hi.
morning to your guests.
Good morning.
Yeah, you know, I just walked in on the conversation, but I could make this input. To me, it really wouldn't matter which system because I'm looking at, on the global scale, the implementation and the dehumanization, the dehumanization of human rights, right? And what is going on now on the global scale. Example, the emergency powers and all the scientific bylaws that infringe on our liberties and humanity is being hijacked, and we're sitting down about what type of government. It doesn't matter because the public didn't have no input on a global scale into none of these laws that were put into place, by the oligopolies that sit down at the round table and running this global fable. And you and everybody else are willing to uphold civil liberties and civil rights being taken away and sitting back on the radio show making a joke and making a laugh. Have a good day, man.
You really are a ridiculous person. But anyway, Nicola, that's a very interesting point, as we saw in some parts of the world where they have federal systems that there couldn't be a decree by the Prime Minister, the President, or the Chancellor, that they had to get the regional leaders on board to agree to do some of those things. In fact, let's talk about that, how in a situation like what we were facing, that things could be very, very different.
Well, I think that the discussion about civil liberties and the way in which the pandemic was responded to is important, but we also need to recognize that governments are put in place to handle just this. This is what a government's purpose is. The problem is not necessarily in the emergency activities that happened during COVID-19. It is the perpetuation of those activities. And democracy is an engagement and a dialogue, right? And when you have a crisis, the dialogue doesn't happen at that time, but it has to happen later. I don't disagree with some of the concerns that the caller put up, but I don't see it as a zero-sum game. I don't see that one thing obviates the other, right? I don't see that we can have both conversations at the same time. The question of republicanism, of how we are governed, of federalism, are big questions that we need to consider over time. The responses that were made in a particular time frame to COVID-19 were, I don't take issue with those responses in the short term. I do take issue with the erosion of democratic rights over the long term, but I don't necessarily agree with the idea that one form of tyranny should replace the other form of tyranny. Is freedom to infect or to become ill, is that something that must trump the common good? That's the kind of discussion that needs to be had. Yeah. So I think that the points raised are extremely good points, and I would be open to a full and open debate about it. Freedom does not necessarily mean the freedom to do whatever one feels if there is threat to a public good.
Yeah. All right. This text here, I think this push to become a republic comes down to misandry and not independence. Most countries are fine with facing a matriarchy, a woman as head of state, but have an issue with a male head of state. Let's speak the truth. Wow.
I think that person is a troll. I'm pretty sure.
Well, I mean, I think that we have to be careful about judging these things globally and over time based on our experience. If we're talking about heads of state, then, there's no country in the Commonwealth that, and there are very, very, very few people left in the Commonwealth who have any experience of anything but a female head of state, because Queen Elizabeth is the longest reigning monarch of all time. So, I think that it's difficult to make a generalization from that very particular situation.
Yeah. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back with more. We'll get to some more of these messages here, Dr. Bethel. And this is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Baby, I need your love. Oh. Baby, I need your love. Baby, I need your love.
Open up, this at the time of the year. BTC spreading Christmas cheer. To everybody whether far or near. Move to the rhythm of Christmas round.
Get your chance to win $1,000 each week when you sign up for BTC Internet. With the Super Fast Extreme Internet Bundle, enjoy 150 megabits of speed per second and 157 channels for only $99.99.
Move to the rhythm of Christmas. Move to the rhythm of BTC.
Visit btcbahamas.com. Conditions apply.
RBC can help you wrap up the year with holiday joy with an affordable auto financing package. Take advantage of up to 100% financing, competitive interest rates, extended repayment terms, backed by our mobile auto RBC sales experts who will meet with you safely at your convenience. Find out more at rbc.com/Caribbean/autoloan and experience holiday joy with RBC. Offer extended to December 31st. Conditions apply.
We are working to protect our country, our people, and our livelihoods so that we can move forward. The vaccine is safe. The vaccine is easy. The vaccine is essential for our recovery. If we want to rebuild our economy, if we want to get back to our jobs, if we want to get back to our lives, our families, we must do this together.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and carved body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
You've tried everything. Aces with your mother's cousin's sister's auntie, and even hiding your money under your mattress. But is your money safe? Your Bahamian dollar deposit in a member bank or credit union is insured up to $50,000. If anything happens, your deposit up to the insured value will be returned to you thanks to Deposit Insurance. Visit Deposit Insurance Corporation at www.dic.bs.
Protection for your money guaranteed with DIC.
Your child needs nutrients every day, and Enfagrow has DHA and iron, which supports your child's mental development. Enfagrow has components which cow's milk does not contain. Support your toddler's growth and complement their diet with Enfagrow. Let's fuel the wonder. This product is not intended to be a substitute for breast milk. Milk does not contain DHA, but contains calcium and other nutrients.
Hurricane season is here. If you're not prepared, it can really turn your life upside down. Fortunately, there's CG Atlantic General. Our people are here, ready to assist at a moment's notice, with protection like alternative accommodation for those who are displaced due to a storm. It's our priority to make sure you have what you need when you need it most. So when your life gets turned upside down, we can help to turn it around. CG Atlantic General. Good like that. Security and General Insurance Company Limited, trading as CG Atlantic General. Contact the CG Atlantic General broker today.
To win a relay, each team member must do his or her part in the race. If one member drops the baton, it impacts all of us. Across all ages, genders, abilities, nationalities, cultures, or religions, we are all on the same team. And we all have a role to play in getting to the finish line to win the race against COVID-19. Don't drop the baton on safety. Wear your mask over your mouth and nose. Keep at least 3 feet distance from others. Do not touch your face. And wash or sanitize your hands often. Together, we will win. This message is brought to you by the PAHO WHO Bahamas and Turks and Caicos Country Office, the Ministry of Health, and the Healthy Bahamas Coalition.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Janae's Christmas Wonderland is open under the Big Tent. Get 20 to 50% off selected Christmas decorations. Restrictions apply. Trees in pink, frosted green or white in a variety of sizes. LED and laser lights, a large variety of tree ornaments, lighted angels, Santa tree toppers, bright and lively colored Christmas balls, garlands, wreaths, red and white stringed cranberry, shoe skirts, stockings, and lots more. Add flowers, picks, and decorative mesh to brighten up your home or office this holiday season. And don't forget the toys at Janae's Chesapeake Road. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Janae's Limited. WhatsApp 817-3295.
It's a different kind of Christmas, but everything is here.
Yes, everything is here at Shop Smart Department Stores. 2 locations just for you. One on Mackey Street next to RBC, and in the Prince Charles Shopping Plaza. Come on down. Everything is here. Shop Smart, Shop Smart, Shop Smart. Oh, everything is here.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
I don't know water. I just go to boat kiss somebody's daughter. I like to run out of it. La 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 la. Yeah. Did you know? I remember him. From the Bahamas, it's the place you vacation. It's like
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan with Don Sargent. We're talking with Dr. Nicola Bethel, talking about our public system as our neighbor to the south, Barbados, has officially become a republic. We are talking about whether it's time for the Bahamas to seriously consider this, at least start the discussion. Prince Charles there in Barbados for the official change over there had some very interesting things to say last night. I'm going to read this for you according to the Associated Press, what he had to say. He said, quote, "From the darkest days of our past and the appalling atrocity of slavery, which forever stains our history, the people of this island forged their path with extraordinary fortitude. Freedom, justice, and self-determination have been your guides." Charles thanked Barbadian officials for inviting him and said he greatly admired what they've achieved. And Nicola Bethel, Mia Motley, the Prime Minister there, has made this passionate plea, I guess, to Barbadians to see this as the time for them to really acknowledge their independence and to blaze their own paths now. Do we have that type of nationalistic spirit here? Do we don't hear it often? Just a few times when people say, they don't know why we were swearing allegiance to the Queen.
We have, yes, we do have that. Absolutely, we have that nationalistic tradition here. What we don't have is the example of our leaders, right? Mia Motley is the leader who led the country in that direction. We seem to think that, I don't know what we think our leaders are supposed to be, whether they're supposed to be representatives of the worst of us. I don't know, because when I look and see who we have chosen, I have to wonder. But yes, we absolutely have that nationalistic fervor. We just have not had the leadership that will shape the way, the form of that fervor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I would disagree, and simply saying that I think a lot of younger Bahamians are incredibly disengaged, and not because they simply don't care. Just like what you said, Dr. Bethel, where the examples they've been shown their entire lives and their parents have told them most of their lives, haven't been ones that inspire confidence and patriotism. Well, I'm not use the word patriotism, but some sort of national pride about who we are as a people in our history. So a lot of them don't have the same opinions that I would have. And sometimes talking to younger students as well about what their perspectives of the country is, it's like, it almost feels like I live in the middle of what the Bahamas used to be. My parents grew up in what the Bahamas was supposedly in their mind supposed to be, and then the Gen Z right now seem to be of the impression like the best thing you could do for the Bahamas is leave it. So I'm on the fence.
Yeah, well, okay, but that is not necessarily, that's not unusual, right? We're just coming late to the Caribbean conversation. That has been the model for the Caribbean for the last 30 to 40 years. The Bahamas has come there late. And that's why I make my argument about nationalism. And I will reiterate what I said. It still comes down to leadership, because we have, there was once upon a time, and this is me showing my age, there was a set of books called the Royal Readers, which were things that taught people how to grow. But there was somebody called Topsy in there. And we can talk about Topsy and what she signified and everything. But the idea was that she just grew. And we have basically taken that kind of laissez-faire attitude to the way in which we administer our country. All we care about is whether people get jobs. We are not shaping any kind of discussion. We are not creating any kind of policy that puts the nation first. This is a fault of the leadership, and it resonates throughout our population. But if we had a leader at the top who shared with people what the Bahamas is, what the Bahamas has, what we can offer the world, what we have given the world, that would change overnight, I would argue.
Yeah.
I agree with that. The part about leadership, I absolutely agree.
Absolutely. All right, I'm afraid to do this, but let's take these calls really, really quickly before we wrap things up. Good morning, caller on Morning Blend.
Yes, good morning to you, Dwight, and Dr. Bethel and your co-host. Just a point, right? The biggest problem we have in any conversation is the fact that we don't have an extensive social studies, governmental studies, civic studies in our school. And so essentially we've had a system of oral tradition where rumors are spread and how a story goes down and down and down. And so the mere fact is that we always have these conversations about changing governance. But if you were to go into the high schools or anyone else and have some in-depth conversation about the different models of governance, or even the Westminster systems and the hybrid states possibilities, you'll probably get a bunch of nonsensical conversation. And so essentially we've taken the opportunity for 40 plus years and dumbed down the conversation, and now we're moving into an interconnected world where you must now have some wider conversations on our very existence, and we have our citizenry unprepared for that type of dialogue.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Another one. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. I'll go back. Oh, no. Okay. All right. This text here: our country is unique in its geographical makeup. Give an example of a republic with a similar makeup. Also, the U.S.'s republic, and how was Puerto Rico treated during Hurricane Maria? Well, is that okay? Thank God most Caribbean islands have their own government. Consider that for the Bahamas. What now? What? Anyway, perhaps family islands may be better served. It's about taking care of our people. Okay, so we're going to extremes here. You want the islands to all break away, or do you want them to have their own state or provincial leadership where they can make some rules and still be a part of the Bahamas? Is that what are we talking about exactly?
Yeah, the latter. And if somebody wants the question about similar kind of geographical space, Indonesia, which is one of the largest countries in the world, is a republic. And it is also the largest archipelago in the world, the Pacific. So the example is there.
Yep, absolutely. We've scratched the surface as usual, Dr. Bethel, but definitely we need to have more conversations like this and so many different things that we could talk about. But thank you so much for being here with us. It's been a while. Great to have you back with us.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Pleasure.
And again, congratulations to Barbados. Again, we can debate whether the form of republic they've chosen is the best for would be good for us, but at least they've made a move. And that That is stellar. All right, we're going to take a break for news and be back. We've got a lot more Morning Blend and Morning Blend business coming for you. That's and Don, thank you so much. I know you have to run as well. Appreciate it. And thank you to Dr. Chris Curry for being with us this morning. But stay tuned. We'll be back in just a bit.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is the Guardian News Network update on the hour. Hello, everyone. I'm Charlene Ferguson. Prime Minister Philip Davis has vowed that the former Minnis administration will be held to account for what he called its reckless and irresponsible spending in the run-up to the September general election. He revealed in Parliament the projected expenditure of the Bahamas Public Parks and Beaches Authority increased by nearly 150% in the months leading up to that election, up to $37 million from $15 million approved by Parliament. He said a number of those contracts were awarded to clean middle and high-end subdivisions like Bella and Westridge. Davis said St. Barbados MP Sheridan Cartwright, who was former Public Parks and Beaches Authority chairman, has a lot of explaining to do. Well, decorum broke down in the House of Assembly yesterday evening as House Speaker Patricia DeVoe and Long Island MP Adrian Gibson got into it over whether MPs were making valid points of order. DeVoe complained about the overall disrespectful tone of some MPs during the sitting.
No, I want you to go and think on those things. Pointing. Is it funny? I want to know, is it funny? Did I make a joke?
I laughed.
Why? Now listen here. I didn't crack a joke. And let me tell you something.
Did you give me an opportunity to speak?
No. I don't need to hear from you. It's funny. Just answer yes or no.
You are not talking to children.
I am not talking to children, but do not act as children. No, you're making a mockery because you laughed. And the people of this country are watching.
DeVoe said she was ashamed of the behavior displayed in the House of Assembly yesterday and that she is in place to bring respect to the chair. And a man was shot to death along Hospital Lane just after 8 last night. Police say he was found slumped over in the driver's seat of a grey Nissan March, which was parked at an intersection with its engine running. We're told he was shot multiple times and died at the scene. That's what's making headlines at this hour. Stay with us. AP Update is next.
Good morning, I'm Ed Donahue with an AP News Minute. The CDC is backing booster shots for all adults.
In a preemptive move to head off the new COVID-19 variant Omicron, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention late Monday recommended booster shots for all adults. Pharmaceutical companies are adjusting their existing COVID-19 vaccines to better attack the Omicron variant, but an Omicron-specific vaccine probably won't be in production for another 2 or 3 months. Still, Dr. William Moss of Johns Hopkins University says,
we just know in general that higher levels of neutralizing antibodies are protective against across different variants.
In an effort to thwart the arrival of Omicron in the U.S., restrictions on travel from South Africa and 7 other countries in southern Africa took effect Monday. I'm Mike Gracia.
First cases of the variant have been reported by Japan and France. Dutch health authorities say Omicron was already in the Netherlands when South Africa alerted the WHO about it last week. I'm Ed Donahue.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
And we are back here with Morning Blend, and it's time for your Bahamas COVID vaccination raffle drawing for today. As you know, we've been doing this for months now, giving away prizes to folks who are fully vaccinated against COVID or even partially vaccinated against COVID. All you have to do is register if you are. vaxbahamas.com, vaxbahamas.com. And it'll take just a couple minutes and you're ready to go. And every day we give away 2 great prizes. And we announce the names right here on Morning Blend. And today we're giving away a case of Calic and a garbage bin from Bahamas Waste. Okay, so great stuff there. And I'm going to call 2 names. And then our partners at the U.S. Embassy are going to be in contact with you to let you know how to collect your prize. All right, so let's give away that garbage bin from Bahamas Waste. First, that's going to be very, very useful. The winner of the garbage bin from Bahamas Waste, Valencia Dean Smith. Valencia Dean Smith, congratulations. You've won a garbage bin from Bahamas Waste. Valencia Dean Smith. Great stuff there. And the other prize, the case of Calic, just in time for the holidays. The winner of the case of Calic, Tanya Forbes. Tanya Forbes, you've won a case of Calic. Congratulations, Tanya Forbes. And again, our partners at the U.S. Embassy are going to be in contact with you. But thank you very much and congratulations. And again, you can register at vaxbahamas.com to be a part of the Bahamas COVID vaccination raffle. We'll have another drawing for you tomorrow. It's time now for Morning Blend Business.
Let's all celebrate and have a good time. Yeah, yeah. Celebration. We gonna celebrate and have a good time. It's time to come together. It's up to you. What's your pleasure? Everyone around the world, come on!
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
And good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Tuesday, November 30th, 2021. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. This morning, we are talking about the Authentically Bahamian Trade Show, the Nassau Cruise Port, and BAIC, Bahamas Agricultural and Industrial Corporation, Authentically Bahamian Trade Fair. And very pleased to welcome from the Nassau Cruise Port, Amanda Friedman, and from Dungalik, Pamela Burnside. Ladies, great to have you with us. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
It is our pleasure. It is our pleasure. All right, so let's get into this. We know that there had been an Authentically Bahamian Trade Show for a number of years. This is the same event. Tell us about that and the origins and now what we can expect this year.
Sure. So I think what we have done here is work on an already extremely successful model that has been put together from the likes of True Bahamian Festival. And I know that Pam is a wealth of knowledge on all of the other things that has been done in the past. And Nassau Cruise Port Limited has partnered with BAIC to bring together a Authentically Bahamian trade fair to make connections, to create networking opportunities, and to really push the agenda to put together people in the industry to purchase authentically Bahamian goods from very creative, unique artisans that exist right here in the Bahamas, whether they be in the Family Islands or in Nassau.
And Pam, you can tell us more about this and why this is so important.
Well, we have put this show on for next weekend, Saturday and Sunday, December 11th and 12th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Grand Ballroom at Coral Towers in Atlantis and Paradise Island. And it's important because the orange economy is very dear to, I'm representing several hats here with Dungalik Studios as well as Creative Nassau, because what we're trying to do is to bring the orange economy idea into play, because we believe that we have to start with the people first. We have to be able to empower them to be able to make a living for themselves. And that way the country will grow rather than always depending on foreign direct investment. We need to do more investment in our people. Yeah. So this trade show, which will be showcasing authentically Bahamian-made goods, will be open to the wholesalers, to the tourism trade, to businesses, and also to the general public. And we are trying to develop a cottage industry here in the Bahamas so that the artisans will be able to produce their goods on a mass production level so that there's more available authentically Bahamian goods for sale and not imported cheap products from foreign.
Wow. All right. And Pam, you've been talking about this for a long time.
Oh, yes.
Are you seeing change? We'll get into details about the fair in a bit, but are you seeing attitudes changing? Are we getting it yet? Are people understanding how important this is on so many levels?
Yeah, well, we have over 80 artisans who will be taking part in the fair, and 17 of them are from the Family Islands. Oh, wow. So that means that people are actually using their own creativity to make product. And yes, I think it is growing, but the important thing is to have the opportunity for them to showcase these goods and to also educate the public of about what is available that is really handmade. When I was growing up, Nicolette talked about her being older, but I'm going to be 70 this year. And when I was growing up, the straw market was all handmade Bahamian straw and other products. And it was a fascinating place. And I was very proud of the fact that we had artisans who were producing things that were locally sourced. That straw grew here in the Bahamas, and they made everything by hand. And it was a unique project, and it was unique products that people loved to come to get to in the Bahamas because they couldn't get them anywhere else. Right. And we have gone full circle around. The pendulum has swung to the other side, and we have forgot who we are as Bahamians, rather than taking that easy way out to just go and purchase something from foreign. Yeah. We made everything by our hands, and it was the fruits of our labor that made many of people in my generation white collar workers, because that straw market made enough money to send those children off for higher education. Oh, yes. And a lot of the young people do not understand that. And so that's another way of us using this trade fair to say, believe in yourself, buy Bahamian, buy Bahamians, support your own, own your own, be proud of your own, and sell your own things.
Yeah. What do you think happened, though? I mean, why did it change? I know, yes, we all want things to be easy. We don't want to work as hard. But I mean, we really went far with this and completely, in some ways, lost our way.
Right.
What happened beyond the simplifying all that hard work there?
I think that the balance changed in independence. We were more independent before independence because we had no one else to look to but ourselves. We had a community of people who worked together, who taught each other skills, and we were able to make do with what little we might have had, but we were proud of what we could do by working together and working hard. But with independence, I think that the pendulum, the balance was shifted because everybody was saying we need to be the white collar workers, but no country can exist without tradespeople, people working with their hands. And I think we shifted that balance too much to the other side. And people said, oh man, I don't want to be no straw worker no more. I want to go and work in an air-conditioned office. And air conditioning is a whole different story. And I want to wear a 3-piece suit. Well, that was not the right thing to do. We were supposed to be able to say we have to have pride in those people who are working with our hands, because the two have to coexist in a community in order for any country to grow. And I think that's where the problem happened.
Yeah. Wow. And the impact of this, what the visitors, the people who would be purchasing from the straw market, the difference in the quality. Let's talk about how dramatic it was and noticeable to those purchasing these goods.
We had very discerning shoppers in my day because people came and they wanted something that they could not find anywhere else. And of course, the world shifted because it was big cruise ships and there was multi-tourism. They wanted quantity rather than quality. And so you had hundreds of people coming in, so you didn't have time. You thought to produce something, let's buy something cheap and quick and let's sell it for a couple dollars. But that is not the way to go. The Bahamas was well known for quality, for excellence, and pride in what we made. And we need to make people understand that that is the important thing. We use what we have here in this country and make it something unique to the Bahamas so that people will take back a piece of the Bahamas that is true. And is authentic. And that's why we're calling it authentically Bahamian. And when you look at the straw market, there are some of the people who actually make their products still in the straw market, but they are few and far between. They're the exception rather than the rule, because we have all of this, what I call junk, that is imported into the country that you will find in every port of call if you are on a cruise ship. Right. And that really makes me very annoyed. And I hope that the government will see the light. I'm tired of talking to successive governments over the decades, my late husband and myself, to see what you're looking at and use our own people's fantastic talent and build them up so that they in turn will make the country greater.
Yep. And definitely this is what this show is all about, hoping to get us back on track. Realistically, how long do you think before we could even be somewhere approaching near where we were back in the day?
Well, a baby step, a baby doesn't get up and start running, so we have to take the baby steps and make it happen. And this trade show is a great step in the right direction. And I commend Nassau Cruise Ports and BAIC for hosting it, because it's something I've been advocating for such a long time. And we have been doing this Creative Nassau with our own market in Pompey Square over the years. But this is a way for local people as well as visitors to see, wow, we have Bahamians who are talented enough to produce. And the caution that I also put in this whole scenario is the fact that the Bahamas is not a mass production nation. We are not used to mass producing. I trained as a fashion designer, so I learned how to mass produce, to cut 200 garments at one time with one big set of scissors that was electrically motivated. But we need to get into that mindset to not have to produce a product from beginning to end, but to have a cottage industry, to have a production line so that it passes from one hand to the other. It makes it more efficient. It's a time and motion study where you can bring your prices down to be able to produce more product at a high level and give it a good price so that it can be sold to more people. And that's what we have to get used to. And that's the next step in this whole program.
Wow, that's fascinating to hear you put it like that. So yeah, be the cottage industry and be proud of it, but find the new efficiencies in it. Wow, okay. And we see that people in other parts of the world in Europe, they are celebrated for handcrafted work that takes hours, and people will pay top dollar for that. We can do that. We can be that here.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. All right.
Absolutely.
So that's fantastic. All right. So let's talk more about who all is involved in the trade show. Amanda, I guess you can tell us more about that.
Yeah, sure. So Nassau Cruise Port, in thinking about putting this trade fair together, knew that we had to engage, people that have been around this sort of idea forever, and also people that supported the tourism industry and people that support entrepreneurs. Because the key focus of Nassau Cruise Port is to bring authentically Bahamian to the forefront. We want to have it in everything we do, in everything you see. We're building a destination and branding a destination. We want there to be no mistaking that you're in Nassau. So we want there to be handcrafted, beautifully made, unique goods that you can only find in Nassau. You know, touching on what Pam said before about how it used to be. We want to get back there to showcasing that. So in bringing this all together, of course, we wanted to build on the work that BAIC has been doing since inception. And so we put together an organizing committee with representatives from Nassau Cruise Port, BAIC, Bahamas Hotel and Tourism Corporation. You know, they did Choo Choo Bahamian Festival, Ministry of Tourism, Investments in Aviation, Creative Nassau, that's our PAM, the Small Business Development Center, Access Accelerator, Tourism Development Corporation, the TDC, and also festival place vendors sit on this committee as well. And those vendors have been, a lot of them in operation since 2003, down in what was formerly Festival Place. Right. And we are so pleased that there are a good number of those vendors that are authentically Bahamian. You know, they are creating day in and day out handcrafted goods. And we want, you know, that to be just the sole focus and for us to get back to as close to 100% as you possibly can. Yeah. And we want people to know, you know, if you need great Bahamian finds, you can come down to the cruise port. That's where they are. And so this trade fair is one way that we're bringing all these people together, all these stakeholders that really know what they're doing in terms of you know, pushing authentically Bahamian. And we're all going to gather on December 11th and 12th and have just 2 great days of networking, shopping, wholesale purchasing, you know, all those sorts of great things.
Okay. All right. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the products and that we can expect to see and any other details that we need to know about this wonderful, authentically Bahamian trade fair for December 11th and 12th. We're talking with Pamela Burnside and Amanda Friedman. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Mama Lily, Mama Lily, Mama Lily, Mama Lily.
At Fidelity, the holidays are all about family, spending time with loved ones, and being thankful for the little things in life. Worrying about bills should be the last thing on your mind, especially during the holidays. Let Fidelity help you get your bills under control. Fidelity can also get you started with a real savings plan that actually pays you interest. The only thing you need to think about is what you will do with the savings in your pocket this Christmas. Now that's what I'm talking about. Fidelity Bank is here for you this holiday season because you are family, and family is important to us.
Girl, you see how Cora eye look funny, all black up yesterday?
But she say she bumped into a wall when she's running after the churn them.
Yeah, but last Saturday, you see her arm was all black and blue, right?
So what you saying? You think something wrong between her and Jack?
I ain't sure, but you know Jack is a jealous man. I hear him and Cora last Friday. I hear him say he hear Cora have eyes for Junior.
Now you know that ain't true. Cora is a good woman, does mind her business, take care of them churn, and go to church every Sunday. So what you think we should do?
I think we should report Jack, you know. Cora don't say nothing, but silence hides violence, and we don't want to line up in the cemetery.
Not me. I ain't getting in nobody business, then Jack come after me and I land up next to Cora.
No, man, we could call a text Crime Stopper. And remember, we can even get some grocery money for our tip.
Remind me again, how does this work?
We can call them in Miami at 328-TIPS or 328-8477. Or when we in the island, call toll free at 300-TIPS or 300-8477. And if you don't have no minutes, use the Crack Crime Bahamas app and we could text them and the messages get on mix up before it leave your phone so nobody can know what you saying.
So what we waiting on then? Let's go earn some grocery money.
This traffic report is brought to you by Shield Insurance and Prudential Law Adjusters.
Final moments of our traffic watch. It's about the highway doing well. Not totally cleared as yet, but you do have a considerable amount of the traffic that's out of there. Still a lazy traffic line on Gladstone Road, still a lazy traffic line on Carmichael Road, but they are moving. It's not stagnant. And so given just a bit while longer, and those will be out of there as well. Independence Highway is loaded at this hour. Traffic on the west lanes getting out there into that Blue Hill Road roundabout is pretty slow, and traffic on the east lane getting into the East Street roundabout is a bit slow. But traffic from the south using East Street to get out, once you get across Robinson Road, you guys will be doing well. Typical morning slowness is happening on Prince Charles Drive between Soldier Road and the Marathon Road intersection. And of course, Marathon Road has that heavy traffic line leading out there in the north lane that gets out onto Wolf Road.
Same thing is happening on Soldier Road going into the Wolf Road traffic light. Serious traffic delays there. Bumper-to-bumper traffic going into the intersection. That's also crowded with the traffic that's coming in from Burnett Road. Eastern Road traffic still there, but moving, getting out there on the Shirley Street. And by this time now, West Bay Street has slowed down on the ride coming into the city. The 6-lane roundabout also a lot busier than earlier, so it's really crowded getting through there from the JFK side, from the New Providence Avenue side, and for the traffic that's going along Farrington Road and along University Drive. This National Traffic Report is service of Beyond Flies, who's got a customer appreciation week going on, offering 20 to 50% stall-wide sale. They're located next door to Columbus Primary School on Wolf Road. You can call them at 328-8250. That's 328-8250. Beyond Flies. They're on Facebook and Instagram. Check them for more details. With your Riders Guide, look at traffic in real time. I'm VANN.
Michael was in a horrible car accident. Prudential Loss Adjusters managed his claim and got him the settlement he deserved. Sierra's roof received hurricane damage. Thanks to Prudential, she and her kids are happy with their claim settlement. Tammy fractured her ankle in a slip and fall. Prudential saved her time, money, and peace of mind. Prudential Loss Adjusters are here for you whenever a tragedy strikes. Call 322-4026 now.
Protect the things that really matter to you. Shield Insurance is the insurance company that grows with you to meet your insurance needs through this beautiful adventure we call life. From automobile to home to life and health, boat, liability, construction, and business insurance, Shield has affordable policies, flexible options, friendly service, and the expertise to protect your hard-earned assets. Shield Insurance agents and brokers in Nassau, call 356-7202 or Freeport 352-5945.
Helping out each other, family and everybody. It's a simple act of kindness with you, me, and RBC.
RBC wants to spread acts of kindness during this festive season. One simple act of kindness for our friends, co-workers, and communities can cause the brightest smile. Help a stranger, give a food basket, or call an elderly person. Share your stories at facebook.com/RBC Caribbean.
Acts of kindness, RBC.
Let me ask you a few questions. What's your name?
Pam.
Favorite food?
Steak.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Is your money safe?
It's under my bed, so I guess so.
Are you serious?
Yeah, why?
Unless your money is in a bank or credit union that's a member of the Deposit Insurance Corporation, there's no guarantee it's safe.
Yeah, but what if something happens to the bank?
Your Bahamian dollar deposits are insured up to $50,000, so you'd still be ahead. Plus, your mattress might catch fire. Then what?
Man, those banks and credit unions are looking good right about now.
Visit the DIC's website at www.dic.bs. Protection for your money, guaranteed with DIC.
You can win. You can win. Everybody can win with Esso this Christmas. Win with Esso every week in the Fill Up and Win this Christmas promotion. Simply spend $25 or more in fuel, write your name, email, and telephone number on the back of your receipt, and drop it in the entry box provided for your chance to win loads of weekly prizes. Promotion ends December 22nd, 2021. Terms and conditions apply. Visit bettergasmileage.com/fill-up-and-win for more details. The Esso brand is a trademark of ExxonMobil Corporation and is used under license.
Food security is a challenge for many. Now in a pandemic, many more are unsure of their next meal. Through their Feed 5,000 program and a $20,000 donation, AML is working to ensure that everyone has a meal for the holidays, and they're inviting you to help. Now until December 17th, visit any Solomon's, Costrite, Fresh Market, or Domino's in Nassau or Freeport, and Exuma Markets in Georgetown to donate and help feed a family in need this Christmas. No amount is too small. Remember, we're all in this together.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you see. All the men, women, yo. Yo, let's go, man. We can do it like this. Represent all the Bahama mamas. All the women that are struggling. All the kids and what's up. Do away with that. Yes, sir.
It's time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. Softened revenue intake is expected to continue for the government as taxable economic activity is expected to remain below capacity. That's according to the Central Bank of the Bahamas in its monthly economic financial developments report for October, adding that the government's financing needs are expected to remain high as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and Hurricane Dorian. The central bank explained that improvements in tax revenue will likely come in lockstep with improvements in the country's tourism gains. The government revealed in its supplementary budget that it expects to pick up just under $100 million in additional tax revenue, the lion's share of which will come from value-added tax, despite its plan to reduce that rate from 12 to 10%. The supplementary budget also includes additional recurrent expenditure in the neighborhood of $53 million. The central bank continues to foresee marginal growth for the Bahamian economy this year, given the strengthening of the tourism sector. It says that external reserves are projected to end the year higher than in 2020. According to the central bank, new and ongoing foreign investment projects will also continue to support the marginal growth of the economy. It maintains that continued improvements in the country's economy continue to hinge on global efforts to contain the COVID-19 pandemic. And the short-term rental market is having a much improved start in the fourth quarter of 2021, with room nights sold more than double compared to the same period last year. Central Bank also revealing that stopover arrivals increased to 58,857 in October, from just 4,794 in 2020. And the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute, known as CARDI, formally entering into an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding, with the Juana Luther Foundation's Center for Training and Innovation in a move to improve local knowledge in regards to food production, especially on the island of Eleuthera. The collaboration is expected to introduce younger Bahamians to the best practices and latest innovations of the agricultural sector and help the country reduce its $1 billion per annum food import bill. Overseas, England imposing new restrictions to combat the Omicron variant today, with face masks again compulsory in shops and on public transport. Beginning Tuesday morning, all travelers entering the UK must also take a PCR test and self-isolate until they receive negative results. So that began today. Previously, they had been able to take a lateral flow test, and there was no requirement to isolate. The reintroduction of mandatory face masks brings England closer in line with the rest of the UK, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, which had not relaxed coronavirus restrictions as much as England had over the summer. About 14 cases of the Omicron variant have so far been identified across the UK. Prime Minister Boris Johnson said the new measures will, quote, buy us time in the face of the new coronavirus variant. Johnson's government announced Monday it was expanding its booster vaccine program, with a booster dose to be offered to all those 18 and over 3 months after people had their second jab. Up until now, only people 40 and over and those deemed clinically vulnerable were eligible for a booster shot. And consumer prices across 19 nations using the euro currency are rising at a record rate now as a result of a huge spike in energy costs this year. Eurostat, the European Union Statistics Agency, said the Eurozone's annual inflation rate hit 4.9% in November, the highest since record-keeping began in 1997, and up from 4.1% in October, the previous high mark. Like others, the Eurozone, which is made up of 19 economies, including France and Germany, is enduring big price hikes as a result of the economic recovery from the coronavirus pandemic and blockages in supply chains. Across the Eurozone, inflation is running at multi-year highs, including in Germany, Europe's largest economy, where the annual rate has hit 6%. Even that is below the 6.2% recorded at last count in the U.S., the biggest 12-month jump since 1990. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Monday, your market movers, Focall moving 1,600 shares, closing unchanged at $3.99. Consolidated Water down 1 cent, closing at $2.23. Emira Incorporated up 5 cents, closing at $11.37. The BISX All-Share Index closing at 2,149.31, up 0.03. That's your Market Watch. And that is your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
I am a Bahamian. Yo. Hey, yo, we come a long way and we just begun. Come on, lift up the heads to the rising sun and just sing it out loud. I am a Bahamian. Come on, sing it out loud. I am a Bahamian. From Bahamas to an Agua and islands in between. If you know you in love with the sign and chain, come on, sing it out loud. I am a Bahamian. Come on, sing it out loud. I am a Bahamian citizen, 242 resident, native son of the 8 Mile Rock settlement, highly intelligent, ladies and gentlemen. Let me introduce Papa Smurf in the element. Bahamian accent, smooth and so elegant, using it in a rap song to make it sound eloquent. Any place.
And we are back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan. I'm talking with Amanda Friedman with the Nassau Cruise Port and Pamela Burnside with Dunglik and Creative Nassau, talking about the Nassau Cruise Port and BAIC Authentically Bahamian Trade Fair set for December 11th and 12th. All right, so you are both saying there are going to be a number of vendors participating in this. Let's talk about them. Who can we expect at the trade fair when this gets underway?
We have a lot of great names that are coming out there. A lot of people that, are well known, I guess, in the trade fair, trade show circuit, and some newcomers. I can tell you the type of product range that they're going to be showcasing. So straw work, jewelry, food products, condiments, so jams, jellies, pepper sauces, other sauces, chocolates, popsicles, seasonings, honey, locally grown tea and other beverages, clothing, children's items, Christmas ornaments, souvenirs, fashion, home accessories, artwork, woodwork, bath and body products, candles, and like the list goes on and on. But really anything you could possibly think of, we will probably have for sale there. Something that would be fantastic to buy for the special people on your list this Christmas, which is why members of the public are invited and encouraged to come. But we're so excited to have the wide-ranging artisans that have signed up for our fair.
Okay, sounds great. All right, so now how is this going to work? Of course, we know the C word, COVID, is still out there. What are the protocols that are put in place for the fair?
Yeah, so the protocols are going to be very strict, in line with what Atlantis is okay with, and in line with the permission that was granted by the Ministry of Health and Wellness to hold our event. All participants, vendors, organizers, general public, any visitors are going to have to either be fully vaccinated or show proof of a negative COVID-19 antigen test, which was taken within 72 hours of our event. And both sets, so if you're vaccinated or produce a negative antigen test result, you will have to bring photo ID, and that's in order to gain access to the property and also the trade fair. And then we're going to be strict with masks having to be worn at all times while on the premises. Sanitizing stations are going to be throughout, and on each vendor's table as well. And then also, of course, at the entrance and exits. And we have also taken great care in making sure that the ballroom and the setup and layout is going to be done in a socially distanced manner to provide people, a great level of comfort while they stop and shop.
Okay, all right, wonderful stuff. So children are allowed in? Are they able to come?
Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Pam.
We were really catering to an adult audience, but children can come if they wish. Parents have to, of course, make sure that they follow all of the COVID protocols. And as Amanda said, we have gotten permission from the Ministry of Health and Wellness to hold this event. And there is free parking. People always wonder about that for Atlantis, which will be in the parking area, which is traveling east just past the straw market that is at Atlantis, the first left turn there, and all that ground area there. So that will be free parking. And entrance, of course, is free to the fair itself.
Okay. All right. That is fantastic. All right. So the trade fair, that's great. A lot of these products, though, where can people find them normally? And is that an issue here for people to find a place for distribution or to showcase their products?
I think COVID has really put a damper in a lot of the fairs because we were having fairs all the time, but there are several places of business, like right here at Dungalek, we have the Craft Cottage that only sells authentically Bahamian goods from Nassau, as well as all of the family islands. And then there's also the store on Shirley Street, Bahama Arts. And then we had lots of people who were selling from Facebook because the pandemic made them move to social media, and they have their own following. And we have a farmers market here at Dungalek on Saturdays. It just reopened because the farmers weren't ready, but we have artisans here as well. And so a lot of people have their own following of these artisans. And I think it's important for the Family Island members to have a spot in this Nassau market because, of course, we have a greater turnover of visitors as well as local people. And so that was why we were very anxious to have a good representation from the family islands to give them the opportunity to showcase their goods as well, because a lot of them in the family islands are making fantastic products.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And also, sorry, Dwight, I just want to also make sure that people know that the former Festival Place vendors that were inside the port gates are now temporarily, they've been relocated to Rawson Square behind Sir Milo's bust. And they are also selling authentically Bahamian goods, some of the vendors there. So, even on Bay Street, there is an opportunity for people to stop and shop locally and buy Bahamian this Christmas.
Excellent. All right. So if
And we just need to mention that we will be giving prizes out at the fair as well for the public.
Oh, you got to tell us more about that. Tell us more about that. How does that work?
Well, people will get a ticket as they come in, and we'll have a choosing of the tickets throughout the course of the fair on both days so that people can get a little surprise. And we're asking vendors to also donate their products as prizes for the public.
Wonderful. All right, so if I'm listening to this and I've got products and I'm not a part of the fair as yet, and I want to be, is it too late?
Oh, yes.
It is too late.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately, we had an overwhelming response as well, but it is too late, unfortunately. Hopefully, because we will be able to put together this wonderful network of artisans, maybe something can happen in the future. No promises, but definitely, we want to foster this authentic Bahamian movement going forward, not just with the trade fair, but the focus is on it going forward. So we'll see what's possible.
Yeah.
Yes, and we would ask people to let us know. Creative Nassau, as you know, we have a list of artisans who create goods, and we also take part in Art Walk over to Atlantis. So we always would ask people to come and contact us. We can be found on Facebook, and we have a website, creativenassau.com. So they can always contact us because we want to know who is out there doing what. So, and we also hope to start again our market downtown. So that's been worked on as we speak. And of course, the Festival Place market will be open, and that will be for the general public as well as the cruise visitors, right, Amanda?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for that, Pam. When the new port is open in 2022, the gate, if you will, that used to have all of our Festival Place, now former Festival Place vendors behind it, that moves. So those vendors are going to be accessible through the Port Marketplace area to visitors, to hotel, people staying in the hotels, people staying in Airbnbs, visitors that are just flying in for the day, Bahamians. Everyone will have access to these vendors, and they'll have their brand new beautiful spaces. And we would encourage people, once we're open, to come and shop in our Port Marketplace, because it really will have a plethora of great products and goods for people to buy right here in Nassau.
Wow. And how's that looking, Amanda? What's the timeline now? How soon before we can do this?
We are on track for 2022.
Yeah.
So, I know there's a lot of excitement and a lot of buzz and enthusiasm around our project. Of course, I'm a little biased because I am working on the project, but I'm so excited for what's to come. And I know the people that we've been speaking with, there's a lot of anticipation. And, we're just so thrilled that pushing this authentically Bahamian focus is not just, like I said, with this fair, but it's in everything that we're doing. And Nassau Cruise Port is on track to be among the best destinations in the world, and definitely the best cruise port in the region.
Yeah. Wow.
And this committee is actually a part of the new Nassau Cruise port market. So we are working. This is our first event. Will be the trade fair to help those vendors get more authentically behaving goods, and then we will continue to work with them to help them to develop their orange economy as well.
That is
absolutely
very exciting. All right, so Pam, maybe you can do this. If somebody wants to get into this sector, into this industry, and they haven't done anything much as yet, but they really, really want to, what advice would you give them? What would you tell them?
Well, to be creative, that's the important thing, and to use locally as much as possible. People say, we can't find enough things here in the Bahamas to use to make, but that is what creativity is all about. The less you have, necessity is the mother of invention. We want people to start looking at their environment in a different way. So those pieces of coconut fiber that drop off the tree, it's amazing what you can do with them. And so we want people to source locally. That way, money doesn't go out of the country to buy product and materials and bring them back into the country. It is important for us to use what we have and make the best of it and make fantastic quality items from what we have right here. So again, we say to them, contact Creative Nassau. You can find us on all the social media programs, and we would be happy to talk with you.
Yeah, well, that is great. Okay, so one more time, remind us about what's going to be happening on December 11th and 12th, all the things we need to know and prepare ourselves for.
All right. So on Saturday, December 11th and Sunday, December 12th, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. in the Grand Ballroom, the Coral Towers of Atlantis on Paradise Island, we will be having the Authentically Bahamian Trade Fair over both days. Strict COVID protocols will be in place. So participants, vendors, organizers, everyone will either have to show proof of being fully vaccinated, so bringing the yellow card and or your online Vax Pass, and photo ID is a must. Or if you're not fully vaccinated, then showing proof of a negative COVID-19 antigen test that was taken within 72 hours of the event, along with photo ID, and wearing your masks, sanitizing, and making sure to keep socially distant. And then we're inviting wholesale purchasers, we're inviting the general public, we're inviting visitors. And this is a great opportunity to shop for Christmas gifts, to network, to make those connections that Pam was just speaking about. And entrance is absolutely free, as well as parking is free.
Wonderful stuff. All right. And I'm looking forward to it. Again, how many participants, how many vendors are we expecting?
We have over 80.
Oh, my goodness.
And 17 from the Family Islands.
Really, really very exciting.
We're so thrilled.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing this information. Looking forward to talking with you all again about the orange economy. And again, we're looking forward to the Nassau Cruise Port and BAIC Authentically Bahamian Trade Fair, December 11th and 12th. Pamela Burnside and Amanda Friedman, thank you both so much for talking with us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
We're going to take a break and then be back to wrap things up. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9.
This is some real island stuff here, all right?
At Fidelity, the holidays are all about family, spending time with loved ones, and being thankful for the little things in life. Worrying about bills should be the last thing on your mind, especially during the holidays. Let Fidelity help you get your bills under control. Fidelity can also get you started with a real savings plan that actually pays you interest. The only thing you need to think about is what you will do with the savings in your pocket this Christmas. Now that's what I'm talking about. Fidelity Bank is here for you this holiday season because you are family, and family is important to us.
You can win. You can win everybody can win with Esso this Christmas. Win with Esso every week in the Fill Up and Win this Christmas promotion. Simply spend $25 or more in fuel, write your name, email, and telephone number on the back of your receipt, and drop it in the entry box provided for your chance to win loads of weekly prizes. Promotion ends December 22nd, 2021. Terms and conditions apply. Visit bettergasmileage.com/fill-up-and-win for more details. The Esso brand is a trademark of ExxonMobil Corporation and is used under license.
Let me ask you a few questions. What's your name?
Pam.
Favorite food?
Steak.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Is your money safe?
It's under my bed, so I guess so.
Are you serious?
Yeah, why?
Unless your money is in a bank or credit union that's a member of the Deposit Insurance Corporation, there's no guarantee it's safe.
Yeah, but what if something happens to the bank?
Your Bahamian dollar deposits are insured up to $50,000, so you'd still be ahead. Plus, your mattress might catch fire. Then what?
Man, those banks and credit unions are looking good right about now.
Visit the DIC's website at www.dic.bs. Protection for your money, guaranteed with DIC.
Food security is a challenge for many. Now in a pandemic, many more are unsure of their next meal. Through their Feed 5,000 program and a $20,000 donation, AML is working to ensure that everyone has a meal for the holidays, and they're inviting you to help. Now until December 17th, visit any Solomon's, Costrite, Fresh Market, or Domino's in Nassau or Freeport, and Exuma Markets in Georgetown to donate and help feed a family in need this Christmas. No amount is too small. Remember, we're all in this together.
Helping out each other, family and everybody. It's a simple act of kindness with you, me, and RBC.
RBC wants to spread acts of kindness during this festive season. One simple act of kindness for our friends, co-workers, and communities can cause the brightest smile. Help a stranger, give a food basket, or call an elderly person. Share your stories at facebook.com/RBC Caribbean.
Acts of kindness, RBC.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
And we've got your final look at weather for today. Here's what's happening. We've got a cold front over the southeast Bahamas that's going to continue to quickly exit the area while high pressure progressively builds over the northern islands. So for all areas today, your forecast calls for variably cloudy and mild conditions with a chance of a few light, spotty showers, mainly near the frontal boundary through tonight. Temperatures getting up to around the upper 70s, about 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 64 Fahrenheit, 18 Celsius. In your extended outlook, high pressure will continue to dominate the weather through Thursday, promoting mostly stable conditions. So for tomorrow, Wednesday, look for mostly sunny and warm conditions with a chance of isolated showers becoming mostly fair at night. That's going to hold for Thursday as well, mostly sunny and fair with a chance of isolated showers becoming mostly fair at night. And it is the end of the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season officially, and today's the final day, and tropical cyclone formation not expected through the next 5 days. That is your morning blend weather check.
If you don't like it, sell your TV, buy your fan. Let's do this. Well, it's regatta time again. Regatta people, are you ready? Oh, Lord. That man in a boat passing through. Now what you gonna do? That man in a boat passing through. Now what you gonna do?
And we're back here with the final couple of minutes of Morning Blend Business on this Tuesday morning. Dwight Strachan with you. This text came in pretty late there. This person is saying, one important point is the bottom line. The product cost, mostly of our locally made products, are too high. The bottom line is too high and discourage our people. We really need to educate manufacturers or producers to not overprice their products. Okay, sure. Yes, perhaps, but also I think there's some unique challenges that that may be doing that as well. It's not an easy place to be doing business often, right? We've got a lot of high overhead costs here, the electricity, the gas, so many things. So I think all of that's contributing, unfortunately, to those prices, the cost of doing business here. Looking at the newspapers today and the gas tracker, I mean, everybody's at about $5.45, $5.44 a gallon. This is outrageous. The Americans are freaking out over $3 and something a gallon, but it's not a cheap place. Not a cheap place to do business, and we're not hearing enough of our leaders talk about what they're doing to help decrease the cost of living. And that may be going down to 10%, but is it really going to make a difference in the cost of living in this country, in the cost of doing business? What are we doing about it? It's not like something we just have to accept. Yes, globally we're seeing some spikes, and it's going to be challenging, but that's already on top of what we're facing, what we've been facing here in the Bahamas. And you look at some of the countries in the region, they may not have dollar parity with the U.S., and they may be at outrageous numbers, 1 to 5, 1 to 20, 1 to 100 and something, but do an analysis of the prices in their countries. Stuff's cheaper than here. What's that all about? And they're way further from the manufacturing centers. So what are we doing? Why? Think about that. Anyway, that is it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, have a great day. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.